Okay, I think it has been recorded. So is it recorded? Yeah, hopefully. Let me, sorry, my bad. Okay, it is recorded. So hi everyone, welcome to the 2020 year 2021 to 2022 elections. So after today, you guys will be taking over the committee. And this is your last chance to sort of share your thoughts and your ideas on what you want to do for the society next year. And we have some people who are joining us online, and probably if they have questions, feel free to just drop your questions in. Okay, so before we start, I'm just going to go through how we're going to have this election. So basically, every candidate besides the president and the vice president will have to give a 2-minute speech, whereas the president and vice president will be giving a 3-minute maximum speech. So once 3 minutes is off, the timer will ring and you guys will be cut off. But yeah, if you guys need, okay, I might, for your help, just type here, just so that you know how much time we have left. So the next one is our results will be announced. I think this thing will end before 4 p.m. So our results will be announced around 4:30. Hannah will be counting the vote from 4 to 4:30. And we'll be having an event tonight. So please do stay back. It'll be good food. We're gonna get like fried chicken, sushi, whatever, to celebrate the last event of the current committee and the last week of the term. So it's gonna be fun. Do stay back. And then what else did I miss? I think that is about it from me. So the speech today will be according to the email that I've sent. I think it was PVP, Secretary Treasurer, and then CR Events, Research, and then Marketing. And it will be according to your first name. So I think for president, it was Futa who was first, am I right? I hope I'm right, yeah. And then Ching will be last because his name starts with like Y. Okay, his first name. Let's see who is, I have no idea who this is. But okay, Vedan is on his way. So do you want to wait for him or shall we start? It's okay, I think we can just start. Yeah, so do you guys want to speak here or at your seat so that I can change the camera angle? Okay, let's see what angles do we have. I actually don't know. Where do you guys want to talk? You have to go to the front here. Okay, great. So I'll move and you guys can talk here. Yeah, I am. 1 second. Don't worry.
What's the format for speaking? So is it like a speech and then questions?
No, so okay, the format. Okay, so sorry, I missed this. The format of speaking will be this. Every candidate will come out like so, based on this list. 1 second. Oh, okay, I don't have it here. But based on the list that I sent yesterday, how do I resume? Stop share. Based on the list that I shared yesterday, we have the list. So each of the candidate will come out, give your speech, go back down, sit down. And after all the candidates for a position have spoken, then we'll have all of you stand here and you'll have Q&A from the chat or the floor. Does it make sense? Okay. And the Q&A will be about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how it goes. So there'll be general questions and individual questions to you and your manifesto. Okay. So all the best, guys. Good luck. I'm gonna start sharing you guys manifesto first. Yeah, have fun. Share. Here we go. Is the camera on? Or you? I hope you are. So we have someone clapping. I'm gonna pin. It's gonna be side by side speaker. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I thought there's a mic.
you can see. Oh, you want a microphone?
No, I'm fine. It's okay.
If you want, you can.
Oh.
Yeah. When this thing turns green, then we should be able to talk.
Okay. So hi everyone, my name is Futa and I'm running for the president of the Actuarial Society. So this year I was in the research division and I helped produce research paper and also interviewed professionals in this topic. And I learned insight into the society and also the insurance industry. And outside of society, I'm a student academic representative for actuarial science. So I am capable of liaising with the SU officers and our colleagues once I become the president next year. So moving on to my manifesto, I have three main focuses. First one is strengthening careers preparation. So first, I want to introduce events that are not just limited to insurance industry or actuarial professions, but also in bankings and capital market. So for example, I did a research on insurance-linked securities, which is a topic that covers both insurance and it's okay. It covers both the insurance and the capital market. So I think these events could attract students outside of actuarial science, which could increase the sign-up rates. And also it benefits our current members as it broadens their career prospects. And secondly, we did a great job in holding our company visit, but this experience could be improved if we introduce more interactive activities. So next year, I'll continue to hold company visits, but with interactive activities such as job shadowing and workshops. This way, it will increase engagement and also understanding of the company culture. And my second focus point is fostering collaboration. So I'll reach out to actuarial societies or equivalent societies in other universities to hold multiple events, such as cross-university research projects and competitions. And this will bring in new knowledge and perspectives into our events. And since we only have one or two events with other universities this year, I think this could have been improved next year. And my last focus point is enhancing logistical efficiency. So right now, our research report is only posted on Instagram and Facebook, and it's not the most effective. It's not a most effective media. So I could hold the research division presentation sessions, which the research subcommittee can present their research report to the members effectively. And I think this also encourages research subcommittee to produce quality papers. And lastly, I also want to create a standard template for the marketing division. As if you check our Instagram right now, there's a bit of inconsistency in color and the theme. So I think there could be done better for more efficient promotion. And finally, if time and money allows, I would also like to introduce pub socials. Thanks for listening. I hope my manifesto has convinced you enough, and please cast your vote on me. Thank you.
Hello. Hello. Yeah. Okay. Whenever time is ready, please. Hello, everyone. I'm Hassan Duffaydar. I'm running for president, and I pledge to bring the society to new heights. How am I going to do this? Well, primarily, I intend to make our members take more risks. As future actuaries, we should be accustomed to taking risk. We are a bright community of intelligent people with an unquenchable love for knowledge, and I intend to deliver. I hope to sculpt future actuaries by workshops and collaborations with a bunch of universities. Sorry. I hope to start 101 introductions to new trends such as crypto investing and stock trading. I've actually been in contact with a digital skills lab, and they have informed me about from numerous courses that they provide, which I have personally benefited from. And they have also informed me that they will provide free Code Academy Pro subscriptions to our members. I also intend on breathing new life into the undergraduate research internship program, allowing members to get hands-on practice. Furthermore, I believe that societies would love to utilize our statistical skills in impactful events, such as the 93% Club, the EcoSoc, the Food Cycle, the Green Finance, and many others. To maximize interpersonal skill acquisition and learning, I hope to organize a language sharing session, module help sessions, case study competitions, and workshops, which we could also outreach to other universities. I also intend to comfort freshers and second years with spring week and summer internship opportunities and explanations. This will include preparations for interviews and psychometric tests, all at a digestible pace. And of course, lots of fun social events to balance everything out. Football, hiking, subsidized theater trips, and taking on member requests for the food provided. Building on our rich cultural diversity and individuality, I hope to create members that are not just highly employable, but that are gems to society. Thank you. Please vote me.
Hello. Sorry.
Where your thumb is?
Yeah. Hello. Ken. A very good morning, I bid to everyone. I'm Ying and running for the President of Actuarial Society 2022. Manifesto. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to the current committee for all the insightful events organized throughout the year. From the introductory meeting to various speaker events to office tour and the annual actuarial conference. I'm proud to say that I've personally experienced it all, and here are some of my initiatives to hopefully drive the society to greater heights. Let me take you through some of them from the perspective of a 3-course fancy meal. Quick question. Does anyone know how many types of actuaries are there? No. Look, here's where my actuarial guide booklets come in handy, covering a basic introduction of the field. I'm also planning to come up with an explicit timeline of events. For example, this month we'll be touching on pricing, then reinsurance for the next. And these are the starters. Moving on to the main course, the Actuarial Career Fair. It provides students and employers a chance to meet one another, establish professional relationships, and even discuss potential job or internship opportunities. It will definitely open up your view of the actuarial industry to a whole new level. This is then followed by the part where we all most look forward to, desserts, which are the socials, such as theater trips and even the actuarial ball. Wrapping up the whole meal with some drinks, let me introduce you to the point system to tackle the inconsistent participation rate. Rewards such as actuarial merchandise or vouchers will be given out once target is achieved. For example, attending a talk could earn you 10 points and asking questions could earn another 5 points. You can then exchange a shirt once you reach 50 points or a hoodie for 100 points. Just like the importance of food quality, I will ensure the quality of events by tailoring to our members' proficiency level for better engagement. Ultimately, I hope you enjoy this meal as much as this platform of mine to provide all with the support, resources, and connection to excel in this industry. I believe that I have the ability and qualities of what the president takes through my past experience of various leadership events, as well as in organizing events. If I were to be elected, I promise to be most devoted, democratic, and dependable, bringing only the best to the society and members.
So vote me as your president and I will assist you to be the next successful actuary. Thank you.
Hello, hello.
All right, very good morning, everyone. I'm Ching, and I'll be running to be your next society's president for the upcoming term. So I'll start off to mention with three main things that I believe that members would like to gain from joining the society and the initiatives I'll take to fulfill those initiative things. So the first thing, why would people like to join our society? It is to learn more about the industry. So to equip members with the industry knowledge and insights, my new initiative will be called the Actuarial Edition. So it will be about summaries on articles and research papers about the industry, actual industry, current day trends, and also about the changes that are occurring to the profession. It will be a collective cause whereby all members on all levels will be able to provide their input and to share, and then we will be able to share it on our social media platforms and websites. And I believe this will increase the noticeability of the society and to allow greater sponsors and speakers to join us in the future. And the next reason I believe why would people like to join the Actual Society, it is to meet up with like-minded individuals. I'll host meaningful socials, which includes maybe subsidized theater trips, sports socials, and maybe even karaoke and bowling nights. So this will allow members to connect over an activity, to blossom new relationships and rekindle old ones. And the third reason I believe why people would like to join the society is to gain career opportunities and to connect with industry professionals. So the main gist of events that I would like to plan in the next year will be insight days, company visits, introductions to the actuarial profession, and also non-traditional actuarial career pathways. So to focus on sharing sessions, I'll bring in alumni which have graduated not long ago, which would be better at communicating concepts and sharing their experiences that they had. I'll also continue to improve on our career pack, the actuarial conference, and also the case study competition. So for the next year, I'll plan to split our event schedules into 3-week segments. So the first week, it will be an info session. The second week, it will be more like for workshops and maybe company visits. And the third one, it will be a social. This will give members a better understanding of what events they should expect and maybe improve participation rate overall. So to further understand what members will want from the society, a year-wide Google form will be initiated and to allow members to voice out any views that they had throughout the term. And I'll also take my initiative to reach out to members physically after each event to learn more about what would they want from the society and to better curate events in the future. My mom always told me the chance will be given to those who are prepared with a plan. So the goal is to revamp inner workings of the society by improving cross-departmental collaboration and also to improve inclusivity as a whole. I believe this would allow everyone to be committed to the cause and to deliver the best for our members. So I would like to end my speech here. So if you want the best, I'll settle the rest. So Wolf watching, and thank you for listening.
Right, so can we have all candidates to head up to the front for our Q&A? So thanks for a very interesting speeches. So all we talked about members and wanting to do better for the members next year. So my question is, do you guys know how many members we have? So when you talk about how much you know about society, I think membership is one very important thing. So do you try to give a guess of how many members do we actually have?
Around 90 to 100.
Continue.
Yeah. So I would guess around based on the number of people that actually come to the events. So there is a discrepancy. There's a lot of dormant members, I think, that do not attend. So probably 60 in total, and no, probably 90, but around 30 actually attend all of the events.
Okay, so 112 Ying, 90 Hassan, Ching is
90 to 100.
90 Futa.
Probably 112. So you check the group chat. There's
112.
around that many people there.
Yeah, but that's also third years that have graduated or will be graduating soon. So.
Okay.
But it's
So
still a current member.
Yeah.
as of now, as of today, the count is 182. So even if you asked me 2 weeks ago, it's definitely above 150. So I think next time before you guys not try to pretend that you know a lot, to ask more questions about the society. But yeah, in regards to the group chat, actually it's because it's a new group chat, so there's no dormant members, like there's no non-current students. I mean, there are probably because probably some people from other unis sneaked into it because we don't actually check who's inside the group chat, but there's no third years because we created the group chat this year. Yeah, so that's my first question. Yeah, okay.
Hi guys, so to follow up on that question, as you can see, there is a very rather low participant rate from like the third years and especially like third year and then the second year students. So what are your plans to increase engagement with third and second year students? So for this, we could start the answer in like an order, maybe starting from Ying. Yeah.
Okay, first of all, I'll ensure the quality of the events by asking what the members want to learn or listen to, and the research can further explore into the topics. Then I will also ensure that the events are tailored to the proficiency level of the members. I can do this by providing the speakers a guideline of the knowledge level of our members, so that they can better tailor their presentation accordingly. Then next, I think that in terms of marketing, we should advertise our event at least one week in advance, so that members can better allocate and plan their schedule in advance. Also, I mentioned about the point system just now. I hope that this can act as an incentive to encourage members to join the events and hopefully gain insights from it. Yeah, that's it from me.
Thank you, Lin. So to understand the problem, we have to delve deeper into the problem. Why are third year and second year students not coming to the events? It's because they have a lot of their plate. They're on their second and third year. They're concerned with internships. They're concerned with, third years are concerned with maximizing their last year of uni. So if we could alleviate their problems through the society, so that it provides internship opportunities, like I mentioned, the undergraduate internship program, if we could revitalize that. If we could have more social fun events that third years would like to come to, like football and hiking maybe, then maybe that would address the problem. But yeah, we would also have to outreach. We would have to communicate to them and understand why they're not coming. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Hassan. In my opinion, I've reached out to maybe a few third years. So why did they choose not to come to events most of the time is they've been through first years and second years would have been through first year. So they have an expectation on what events they would like to expect from the society. So we will have to curate better quality events, but also at the same time, we have to focus that there are also first years who would like to know more about the industry. So basically, we can't get all in one basket. So focusing on the problem right now, that is to have more participation rate in first, second, and third years. It would be to have better events, maybe promote company insights, which would be like company sharing sessions about their internship opportunities, their graduate schemes, and also company visits at the same time. And other than that, I believe socials would be a good opportunity for second and third years to come over. And yeah.
Thanks. And I think to increase second and third year sign-up rates, we first need to increase the overall sign-up rates. And I've talked in my manifesto that to do so, we need to introduce events that are not just limited to the insurance or actuarial profession. Because to think about how many actuarial students there are in LSE, there's obviously not many people. But if we introduce events more into banking and capital market, that will increase the sign-up rates. So I believe we could first start working on diversifying our events, and that will attract more second year and third year. But as Ching said, we can also reach out to them to do some research on why they're not attending our events. Thank you.
Could I just add that, like, I mentioned mentoring workshops and module help sessions. So if we actually got third years to come in and help first years, that helps for third year on their CV, interpersonal skills. That also helps for first year who's a bit lost, to be honest. Yeah, thank you.
All right, so thank you for the answers for that. Next we'll move to individual questions. I'll ask my first question to Ying. So as a non-subcom member and as someone who's just started participating in our society events recently, as in MT, it might be more difficult for you to lead the society as you might be more unfamiliar with our operations. So my question is, how familiar are you with our society and how confident are you in performing equally well or even better than the other candidates here who has joined us since last year?
All right. I've been actually communicating with all my friends who are in the subcoms, so I kind of know how this job scope is like and how they actually plan an event and reach out to the speakers and everything. So I would say that I've been participating in the events quite consistently, like since maybe last year. So I kind of have an idea of how the events are run and how I would want to improve on those events because I've personally experienced them and I know from the perspective of a member, what do we want to get out from the society? And I believe that through my past experience, like in other society or organization, I am capable of leading this society to greater heights. Thank you.
Okay, fine. I'll go to my next question to there's one question in chat, but it's okay. We're gonna ask my next question to Futa first, and then we'll take the question from the chat. So Futa, commitment is always the most important factor in running a society. So how will you make sure that your committee will be as motivated as you throughout the whole academic year?
Sorry.
So the question is, as you know, commitment in the entire committee is actually a very important factor in order for the society to run smoothly. So how would you make sure that your committee will be committed and as motivated as you throughout the year?
I think we can have first meeting before every month, like in the beginning of every month, first check where everyone's at. And so I could boost their motivation, start at the same line, and perhaps implement stuff that I need to do to boost their motivation. And also, we could also, it motivates them if I can implement events that they want to promote. So I also listen to their voices, take into account what they want to do in the society. So we can sort of integrate everything and somehow make it into a piece. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna see what question we have in the chat. Right, this question's to Ching. So there's been some comments saying that you seem to react negatively to criticism and rejection of ideas. So how would you respond to this statement? You can see it.
I believe if I'm given this feedback, I'll take it. With grace, and I would try to listen to each other's point of view. But in the end, I believe the society should work together as a whole, and with everyone committed to the same cause, that will only bring the best to the society. So I thank Mark for the comments, but yeah, I'll do my best in following the term.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Ching, for your response. Okay, I want to ask you about your manifesto.
Yes.
So in your manifesto, you talked about crypto investing and stock trading.
Yes.
So my question is, what does it got to do with the actual society? I mean, you can go to trading stock or other societies.
Yes. So when I first came to LSE, I was really impressed by how individual everyone is and their skill sets. I heard about the buzzwords crypto and stock trading, and I was utterly frightened because that's one of the reasons that I didn't join the trading stock and other stuff, because I clearly don't know anything about it. But if we could have a 101 introduction to it, that would boost our members to take more risks because I believe that development happens when
Hustings happening right now.
yeah, so it's not like a fundamental thing of our society. It's just like a one-off thing. So crypto exists. If you want to do it, this is how you do it. Like a bottom line thing, introduction to crypto investing and stock trading.
But won't you think that if you get your members to learn crypto and trading, they'll just, I have a lot of friends who switched their course at the end of last year into accounting and finance, econs, MSB, and they'll just, once they switch the course, obviously they're not going to join the society. So
But
I'm not exactly
I
sure
believe
about
that
what you
crypto investing is and stuff like that, like learning about the new trends is a transferable skill that we can apply to actuarial science. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you for your answer.
Hi, I'd like to have Ying and let me see, Hassan to take my next question because you guys mentioned about like the actual guide booklet or like the interview booklet in your speech. So I'm not sure if you guys are aware, we have published like a career resource pack this year. So could you perhaps elaborate on what are your thoughts on the career resource pack this year and what do you plan to integrate into it next year on top of what we already have? Thank you.
All right, so for the career resource pack, I would say that it's a bit lengthy and not everyone, it's because it's a digital version, so not everyone would like go and look at it. So I was thinking of coming out with a physical version of a booklet and make it more interesting by adding graphics and make it short and sweet, like just a basic introduction, like what is general insurance about, what is pricing, what is reserving, just make it short and simple. Because I attended an event and like one of the speakers was asking like, who here heard about pricing or reserving? Like, it was quite disappointing to see the very few number of hands. So I was thinking of this initiative.
Sorry, just to follow up on your question, have you factored in cost and how many are you thinking print and how would you ensure that all the members will have one?
Yeah, I was thinking about the cost as well. So for this, I would actually look at the number of members who are actually, I think this is more towards like first year students. So it would depend on the consistency of them attending the event, and I'll make sure to like give out to those who actually like would want to like join our event to better like equip themselves with actual knowledge.
But won't you think that as a society, you're supposed to provide provisions to all the members? Like this year, most of the events is open to all. We don't exclude it to just a certain group. So like how would like
Okay,
what's
I
the
think
impact in mind?
okay, to tackle this, I think that we can do a Google Docs, and those people who are interested of the booklet can actually sign up for it, and we can like deliver it to them, something like that, so that we don't actually waste it if they don't want it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, just a quick follow-up on what your response is. You mentioned that the career resource pack is quite lengthy and you think like a short description of different actuaries would do better, but as far as I'm aware, we gave only a short description on what different actuaries do, and I think that is what you have mentioned. So I feel like that might not be like a very strong and valid opinion, but besides that, I think having like a physical copy definitely helps if you could manage that well. So do you still have any other thoughts on like how can you improve the booklet? Because I think that is one of the point in your manifesto that really catches my attention. Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking of also like reaching out to members, like what do they want to know, like how much of the knowledge do they have in actuarial field? and we can start from there. And other than that, yeah, like what I said, I hope to insert more graphics so that it's more lively and interesting. And yeah, that's about it. Like for now, like I'll actually like reach out to the members to see what they actually want to learn and what's their current knowledge level actually.
So first off, I'd like to thank you for the booklet. It was actually very helpful. But I think many of us are international students, and one of the problems I encountered was when I see the big company names, I'm like, oh, I've never heard of this name. This wasn't in Mauritius. I have no idea of the credibility, how high up ranked it is. So maybe implementing a ranking, as I mentioned in my speech, sorry. Implementing a ranking of the different companies we can work for. And also if we could, because under CO we worked under internship opportunities, if we could include a ranked spring week opportunities and summer internship opportunities into the career pack. I think a lot of students would find that very useful. And then we would rank them in terms of how big the company is, which would give an idea of how likely we are to get in, and what are the procedures to get in, which would give us an idea of how much time we need to dedicate to each application. So yeah, adding on to alleviating the problems that many of us face outside of the society and dealing with them inside the society for use of a career pack. And if we could amplify the projection of what's said in the career pack through workshops, like an introduction workshop, possibly with representatives from companies, that would be very helpful. Thank you.
All right.
Just a follow-up question. So you mentioned that you want to rank the companies according to their size. So like what information should you use to like rank them? Because like of course like all the companies will say that they are the best.
Sorry.
So like all the companies will say that they are quite big and they are the best in the industry. So like what resources would you use to rank them?
I'm pretty sure companies publish statistics on the number of workers they employ. So for human labor size, I would use that to rank. But yeah, when I was applying for spring weeks, I found that there's two distinctive fields. There's investment banking and insurance. And investment banking is being covered by a lot of big business and investment company. They work a lot with applying for spring weeks in investment banking. If we could focus applications for the insurance field, I think that would give us a great monopoly. Thank you.
All right, just another question. So following on the actual conference, who are the speakers whom you secured? And so that the topic of the session is like what the actual industry should look out for in 2022. So that Ariel already like told us that we should prefer female speakers,
yeah. But
you still look for male speakers. Can you like elaborate on that? Like why?
Oh, sorry. So I believe that was miscommunication, but we're all first years, we're all still learning, and it's good that I faced problems in the first year so that I don't face them again in the second year. But yeah, I believe that after she told me, I did start looking for female speakers. Yeah, it was pretty difficult to find because the actuarial field is very limited in terms of high up professional females. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very valid point. So since you're looking for male and female speakers, could you explain why you couldn't secure a single speaker?
Oh, so I believe there's a lot of uncertainty in this. There's a lot of risk factors, you know, because we were allocated some speakers, so that was not to my control. But the ones I did search for, I tried to search up for higher up ones, and they weren't as interested in it. So,
but analyst Scott she has 20 years of experience. Nadine got the Judge Kelly.
But again, that's a thing of uncertainty, which yeah, it's a learning curve.
So if this thing of uncertainty continues next year when you're leading the society, do you think we will not be able to secure a single speaker in any of our events and even for the conference?
but I just hope it's a one-off unlucky thing. But we would have a new CO division. We would be working many subcommittees. It's very unlikely we wouldn't have a speaker. Yeah,
Right, okay. Okay, thank you for your answer.
thank you.
My next question is to Ching. So you mentioned more about socials and stuff. So could you name, besides the theatre social, that probably is the highlight of our society, what socials did we have this year? And which ones did you participate, your feedback on those? And for those that you did not participate, why not? And why do you think like we were not able to attend, and how to improve on those? Yeah.
Sure. Thank you for the question. Regarding socials, the main biggest one, like you mentioned, was the theatre social. Other than that, there was study sessions on campus where you guys booked a room for everyone to come in and study together. And also there were card nights, movie nights too, if I'm not mistaken. So I personally, myself, I participated with movie nights, but not with the others. In order to cater for better socials next year, I believe we will want to be doing an activity during socials, in my opinion. It will be better for people to bond over doing something other than just having a room where people study together, because anyone can get a location anywhere else on campus, in my opinion. And my new initiative maybe is to collaborate with other sports societies for maybe like one-off events on maybe the weekend. People could come over, play badminton or basketball.
Hi. So this is a question for Futa.
Yeah.
So you mentioned about job shadowing in your manifesto. Can you elaborate more on that and how was that?
Yeah, so like when we went for a company visit, we basically sat there for a couple of hours in presentations, and the content was interesting, but there definitely needs to be more interactive activities. So I introduced job shadowing, and I got this idea when we were walking through the offices. And since it was like late at night, maybe 8 or 9, there was no one there. But maybe simply just looking at the board is still better than like just looking at an empty office. And I don't really have a strong plan on how I can do job shadowing yet, but I will talk with our sponsors. If we get our current sponsors, that'll be great. But if we have new sponsors next year, I'll talk with them to plan how it goes. Thank you.
Hi, I have one question for Futa. So, throughout the entire term, the events division and the CR division has some sort of experience in like communicating and searching for speakers. So since that you are from like the research department, do you think you would face a difficulty of having to help these subcommittees secure speakers, etc., especially for the actual conference? And then what do you think you can leverage on your experience to do better?
I think I'm equally or even better than some of the events in CR, because for my research report, I've actually found one speaker from Swiss Re. Other one, I can't name him because he wants to be anonymous, but Swiss Re is the world's second biggest reinsurance firm. And other speakers also from a very renowned reinsurance firm. And I successfully secured an interview with them. And I also interviewed with them. It will be on my report that will be coming up soon. So I don't think I lack in skills in finding any speakers. So that shouldn't be the limit. It's not going to be the limit once I become interested. Thank you.
And one follow-up question to Ying about your career path. So when are you planning to release the pack? Because like from what you mentioned earlier, on like the participation rate and all, it seems like you're going to release it at the end of the year, but won't that be pointless by then because your whole point was to introduce it earlier? Also, timeline for
Yeah, actually, right now I was thinking of actually working on the career pack throughout the summer holidays, and we would get it done when the start of the term. Then we can just send out documents once we secure the members, as in like after they have paid their membership and everything, we send out Google Docs to ask how many of them actually are interested in this guide booklet, and then we can work on it around the course and like print them out for the physical copy. So yeah, it will be actually at the start of the year. I'm Sorry for the confusion.
I have another question for Futa. So you propose that introducing events that are not limited to the insurance or actuarial industry, so that but like our society is essentially called like actuarial society. So like how do you differentiate our society from other society that organizing those like events that you introduced earlier? And what have you in mind regarding this point?
So I'm sorry if I wasn't clear, but I want to introduce events that cover both the insurance and other part. For example, I mentioned insurance and securities,
Yeah.
which covers both insurance and capital market. And there's a bunch of other topics that we can introduce. And I don't think any other, so far, I don't know any other societies that introduce topics that are related to insurance, but we can introduce topics that are related to insurance and something else, so we can attract other students outside of actuarial science. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'll have one last question for Ching. So based on your involvement in the actuarial conference and the actuarial week, what are your plans for the next year? And what do you think you can further improve on for this year?
I believe the actual week was not too bad, but collaborating with the society from base, I believe that was a pretty good experience for all of us to look at another university's campus. And other than that, I think experiencing the actual week and the conference this year, it's we would have to prepare for it earlier, I guess. So with better preparation, earlier marketing, that would help promote more about the conference and the actual week. And regarding the conference, I find it pretty interesting, but in the sense of topics, maybe I would bring it back more to relate to the actual career, less on maybe tokenization, DAO, and all those, as I guess we need better explanations on that, and also to help our society, the members of the society, to understand better.
Right, okay. I think we ran a bit over time because there's quite a few questions. So if anyone online, Perdy, Mark, Jiaze, Imran, Sapphire, do you guys have any questions? Or if anyone in the audience has questions? Oh yeah, by the way, Jiaze is the president before us. So yeah, Imran's good. Okay, one last question before you guys, oh, there is. I'm good, no questions. Okay, great. So one last question before we all end. So this is basically a summary. So yeah, use one sentence, all of you, just one sentence to elaborate on your vision for the club in the next year.
I hope to provide the members the resources, connection, and support to excel in this industry.
Yeah. Like I said, my last sentence was, my end goal is that actuarial society members are not just highly employable, but gems of society.
I guess I'll go with my motto: if you want the best, I'll settle the rest. So I'll work together with mainly the committee and to try to serve the best to our members.
Bring innovation to our society with diverse events.
All right, thank you to all candidates. You guys okay, come, let's move on to our VP manifesto. So I think first one is it Ying or is it not Ying? Ying, it's you, okay, go. One second, let me share some.
No worries. Hi everyone, my name is Nadine. I'm a first year actuarial science student. So last year, September, starting at the LSE, I joined my very first actuarial event, which was the Actuarial Journey event. And there I met a lot of new friends and seniors whom, were really happy to share their experiences with the course so far. And it kind of gave me an insight into what I should expect in the next few years. So I was thrilled by the many opportunities and events the Actuarial Society had to offer. So I decided to apply to the Actuarial Subcommittee to discover how all of this was done efficiently and how everything was planned, where I successfully joined the CR division. And although the journey has been short, it has also been very fulfilling. So I would like this, which is why I'm running for vice president, where I can hopefully give back to the society, which I have gained so much from. If elected, I would focus on the 3 key areas to benefit our members, our society's members. So firstly, I would like to advance the members' careers by increasing the amount of networking opportunities with both actuarial and non-actuarial firms. This could include more company visits, alumni networking, and even corporate luncheons. And I will also strive to acquire more internship opportunities if possible for the members and organize technical workshops to prepare them for that. Next, I want to promote more community engagement by increasing the amount of collaborations with other universities, actuarial societies, theater trips, and more events like that. Or maybe even like short trips to places in UK, such as Brighton. And I also want to make sure that everyone's voices are heard by releasing a monthly survey that will, so that members can kind of give ideas on what the monthly theme for the Actuarial Society will be. And then it can give direction for us to plan our society's events and workshops as well. Lastly, I want to help expand on our members' knowledge by introducing a short and sweet newsletter called the Weekly Actual Recap, where each week we introduce where we interview speakers, actuaries or professionals in the field about ongoing hot topics and its impact on their work, all of which can help improve the members' commercial awareness as well. As vice president, I understand the responsibilities that come with this role. I'm a team player and have held many past leadership posts, such as being head prefect, and I believe that this will help me in this position as well. I'm creative and I love brainstorming new ideas with others and helping bring these ideas to life as well. With my experience as a corporate relations subcommittee, I also feel that I have the technical skills. I know the technical skills to reach out to sponsors and speakers for events. As vice president, I will do my best to learn from the previous committee to ensure that things transition smoothly and ensure the society is continually held in high regard. Thank you for listening, and I hope to have your vote.
We have the next.
Hey everyone, it's me again. And this time, I'm going to tell you why you should vote me as your Vice President of Actuarial Society 2022. Let me start off by addressing my motivation for standing here today. First off, my friends. They made me realize how much of an influence one can make to a society, and inspired me to make an impact once given the opportunity. Having to watch them from pitching ideas to presenting them, I can really visualize how successful the society is going to be under their lead. Hence, I'm standing here today, hoping to be the person to make you feel the same way too. Next, you. Yes, you. I'm inspired to make a change, no matter how trivial it is, for a better you tomorrow. I hope to help develop a better understanding and insights of not only the actuarial field, but also the commercial aspect of financial issues through all these initiatives of mine. With this being said, I definitely could not achieve all this alone. Hence, my aim to create a close-knit committee, then further expanding to the community. You, being the biggest asset of this society, deserve to have your voices heard. Therefore, I plan to carry out a survey at the start of the year to gauge a better understanding of what you expect to get out of this society. Feedbacks and ideas can also be collected through friendlier ways such as Instagram posts or even speaking to the members directly for better response. This data will then be further analyzed, discussed, and improved. What is better than learning and having fun at the same time? I plan to host a variety of entertaining and engaging events for all to enjoy, which includes quiz sessions and collaboration with other uni or societies. I know that there are many capable competitors here today, which justifies how precious this position is. Therefore, if I were to be successfully elected, I promise and am determined to dedicate my all, along with the unfulfilled mission of others, to uphold the prestige of this society. Even though I might not be very big in size, I have big and fiery dreams, just like how a chili can be small, but very hot and spicy. So vote me as your hot and spicy vice president, and I'll make our society hot and spicy too. Thank you.
Thank you, Lizzie. We now invite Nadine on stage for Q&A. Okay, I'll start with general questions to both of you. So given that the president and vice president has overlapping responsibilities, so what do you think is the most efficient way for the vice president to lead the society?
So I think firstly, both vice president and the whole committee, president, vice president, everyone else, they're all in charge of helping to lead the committee into the direction we want towards the upcoming year. So firstly, I think it would be definitely stating your goals well with what you expect from the committee members, and definitely working very closely to the future president to ensure that you know what you're doing, and to also set out responsibilities for everyone so that everyone knows what they're doing and there's no miscommunication whatsoever. Because I think miscommunication can lead to more inefficient planning and whatnot. So to lead as well, definitely just have clear communication, and for vice president, definitely be a bridge between committee members or just members of the society in general, to know what exactly the members want and how we communicate this, translate this into the events and workshops we produce.
Right. So for Ying.
All right. Like what Nadine said, I believe that communication is very important. So regular communication and effective communication with one another will definitely ensure that the job that you are doing does not clash. And after all, I believe that it is a team, and we should help one another. Is that, like, let them know that we are here no matter what. I'll make sure to let the president know that he's not alone in this committee and we are all here together. So yeah, but communication is very important, and just continue to communicate with one another and ensure that, to show that you are actually there and will be there for them no matter what.
Hi, I'll just take the next question to Nadine, and maybe Ying can further elaborate on the same question if you have any ideas later on. So I think both of you has talked a lot about clear communication and to have better or more effective communication. So how do you think would be like the best way to do that with the entire committee and the subcommittee? Because I think I have heard some feedbacks, like so for example, like for the CR department, I think Ariel has taught you guys like how to send messages on LinkedIn, but then there are still people that come back after saying that they can't send message on LinkedIn when Ariel has already shared screen and showed the entire process. And then maybe for some of the meeting discussions where like we have already came to a conclusion, but then like some people might they might not be aware of the final conclusion, and then they might be a bit confused, etc. So how do you think would be the best way to foster like a very clear and effective communication, as you have mentioned?
Okay, so I think miscommunication mainly arises from, sometimes you're having a meeting and it's all done verbally, and sometimes people just want to hear what they want to listen to what they want to hear. And if it's not, and the best way to overcome this is by writing it down, because if there's proof and there's just like, not the same meeting minutes, but if there's proof of what you've discussed and you've written it down, it kind of forces you to discuss it. And if you take attendance of who was there and you wrote everything down, so even if they were not at the meeting, they can still refer back to what was already covered. And also to increase, and you can also help to increase transparency, like maybe But I think for CR, we didn't really have much access to any other thing apart from just CR materials. And sometimes I think it would be quite nice if we could know what events is doing as well, or research, and that could just help us in not only helping us script better messages or kind of understand better what our society has been doing. And instead of just finding out through social media that, oh, we have an event, but I didn't know about it earlier as well. So I think increased transparency and writing things down will help make communication much clearer.
Okay, just to add on that, I believe that meeting minutes is very important so that everyone can refer to after the meeting. And other than that, I believe that communication comes in more effective when a team is close together. So I believe that socials among the committee or subcommittee would definitely help improve the communication.
Yeah, so thank you for both of your responses. So I've just, oh wait, there's one sent the text. Okay, after that, I'll follow up on both of your answers and then we get to Imran's question. So for my question, I've just checked the CR group chat and I would like to think that I did send summaries of what we discussed in each meeting. So yeah, I think hopefully I've done that right and you guys received it. And on the LinkedIn note part, yeah, that was exactly I think what they were talking about and what I felt didn't go quite right. So if you could explain more about like what went wrong during when that instruction was given. And for Ying, just now you mentioned about having more socials among subcommittee members, but unfortunately, a feedback that we received at the beginning of the year when we were trying to have events with subcoms and in person was that people were not keen to attend and they said that why can't we just do our meetings online virtually? Yeah. So yeah, could you guys like respond to this and like how would you try to improve on it?
Okay, to tackle that, I think that first meeting with the subcommittee should be done in person to ensure that we set out the aim and vision for our society and let them know that the importance of the teamwork and how being close together in a team would help the committee. And make sure that the events are fun and I'll make sure that our committee are very friendly and not so that we can encourage them to join us. Yeah.
Okay, for the LinkedIn one, I think personally also I accidentally sent the wrong template on LinkedIn. I accidentally sent the sponsorship one to some of the speakers. I think 1 or 2, then I realized I was like, oh, this is not the correct template. So I did have to correct that. It was quite, I think that we had too many documents and spreadsheets. So, and some were on Google Docs for responses for like normal rejection emails. But also some of it was on spreadsheet. So I think there was a bit of like a confusion on where we should be looking for the LinkedIn template. And although I know you replied to it like, oh, it's here. Sometimes it's like, oh, it just gets lost in translation. Then we also sent in like responses from speakers. So that message just kind of gets lost as well. So I think to improve, do you want me to say? Okay, yeah, to improve on that, I think just make one folder for responses or something like that, and just one whole document or one spreadsheet with different tabs for just like let's say sponsorship rejection, speaker rejection, LinkedIn template. I think just all in one document can make it more streamline the whole process.
All right, thank you for your answers. And we have one question from Imran. Any easier questions? Yeah, so for Imran asked, I want to open it. But basically he was asking, aside from the actual conference, what was your favorite event this year? Like, yeah, what was your
Case study competition.
For both of you?
Mine would definitely be the office visit. And the case study competition was like, yeah, it was fun as well. Like I get to work together with my team until like 4 AM, even though at the end we didn't actually enter. But it was a really like whole new experience learning things and working together.
Okay.
My team.
Okay, I'll ask the next question. So both of you also mentioned about company visits in your manifesto, and I think that is something very desirable by our members. So because none of you guys are from like the events division, have you tried to talk to them or understand what are the difficulties in trying to secure a company visit, and how would you go about it?
I think definitely like similar to how we struggle to get sponsors for our case study competition honor and also speakers. I think there'll also be a similar struggle to organize company visits. For case study competitions and whatnot, I feel like it's just a speaker coming to give a speech and the time is fixed and everything is fixed. But for company visits, it's very dependent on everyone's work-life schedule. And you know, people after work, people may be tired, they may not want to give a speech, and not everyone may be present, some may be on leave and all that. So definitely those will be the difficulties when planning company visits. So I haven't like spoken to events, but I think it will be similar to what CR faces as well when it comes to organizing events and reaching out to sponsors and speakers.
So how do you go about it?
I think definitely try to inform them earlier, reach out to them earlier for both big or small firms or anywhere you want to organize these company visits. So you have to explicitly state down or when during the, maybe give them a time period on when you want to organize these events and the company visit. And of course, confirm with them whether or not they'd be willing to do this company visit in the first place. I think that's very, very important. So reaching out earlier and giving them the detail on what exactly we expect from them is how I'll probably go about it.
Yeah, okay, for me, I think that the difficulty would definitely be reaching out to the firms, and yeah, we'll be reaching out to the firms. So I think that I can tackle this by letting them know like our values of the society and talk about their values as well, the company's value and how our values align, so that with these common values, I think that they would be more willing to participate as in this actuarial office visit. Yeah.
Okay, one more question. As VP, you will have to pitch your society to sponsors and stuff. So how would you propose to make your pitch more attractive and make our society more attractive to sponsors so that they're willing to sponsor us?
Definitely using past data, whether it be using past data and sign up rates and all that statistics based is quite important. And to maybe make it more attractive, maybe pitch it after like Michael's term and we have our whole freshers fair and everything. So definitely freshers fair will be time to attract more new members and increase the sign up rates, which we can add to the statistics to further make our pitch that, we want to work with you, or we want to have an event. We hope that you will have an event with us because of so and so statistics. If not, it'll just, and also, you know, maybe give them insight to what kind of events and workshops we do, like from past years, and just in general share that our members are willing to participate and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, for me, I think that we should let the companies know that what our aims for the society is, and like what I mentioned, like elaborate on how our values align. Other than that, I think that we can other than that, okay. Other than that, we can I think that's about it. Like other than that, we can like actually reach out to them to, I think that's about it actually, like let them know that our values align, and hopefully that they will join us. And we can also let them know who are our previous speakers and what previous events we did organize, so that they can have a better understanding of our society.
So for the next question is a bit more on how do you deal with your team, etc. So how do you deal with people who doesn't do their job, and even after communicating with them, etc., they decided they still don't want to do their job. So like, what is your approach on that?
I think firstly would have to reach out to them and meet up with them personally. Because I think when you add that touch of like personal touch, that you meet up with someone physically, it forces you to kind of just talk about it. You cannot just like mute off your camera on Zoom. So definitely having a physical meeting. So you just talk about it. Like, I'm sure that when it comes to working on the same project, we all have the same goals. We want to make it a success. So what went wrong? You have to just ask each other that question, and we could just both write down our concerns and our goals. So with that, I think I previously mentioned, once you write down what your concerns are, it just forces you to kind of talk about it and helps the conversation flow better, because you know exactly what your concern are and why is it that this person is not doing their work. And if it's because they're busy, propose that, maybe you could like teach them maybe better time, ask them to better time management skills or whatnot, and maybe give them more motivation as to why they should still complete their work even though they're really busy. And if they're really like too much on their plate, you can maybe ask if anyone wants to help them, or you can just help them yourself if I'm free myself, but but yeah, definitely writing it down and having proof that, you really discussed it through. So if they go like, oh yeah, I didn't do it because of this, you already wrote it down and you both already had that physical meeting. So you have to get your work done because you already promised to during that meeting. Yeah.
I have one question for, does anyone?
Oh, I haven't asked.
For Ying?
I haven't. Okay, yeah. I think that I'll definitely find out the reason why they are doing so and show that I care. Like, I can actually also try to help them solve their current concerns. And other than that, I believe that this will not happen if the committee or subcommittee are close together as a team. So I can further work on it by like having the socials. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your answers. So just a bit more on this question. I think both of you guys mentioned a lot about like communicating with them and try to prevent it from happening. But what if it already happened? And then, like you said, the person is busy, but they don't want to do it, no matter how many times you write it down, no matter how many times you talk to them, they don't want to do it, or they can't do it, or whatever reason that is. Who do you think would be the best person to like take up this workload, or what would you do with this workload?
I think that it will depend on the division that the person is in, and if possible, the division can help if they are available. But ultimately, I hope that, and I'm sure that I can resolve the issue with the person and make sure that he or she continue to commit to the committee.
Okay. Yeah, like Lee said, definitely dependent on division, and we have subcommittees that can help if, like, let's say actual committee member is busy and whatnot, we can definitely have the subcommittee help out. But when it comes to really like, if they really don't want to do their work, I think you just have to ask them if they're really committed to this role ultimately. And if they're not,
Okay,
yeah.
just a follow-up. This sounds like a very ideal case, right? Communication works. What if it's a role, like it's something that you cannot ask your subcommittee to do, say an email draft, or say pitch something to the sponsor. So who do you think should be taking up this extra workload, or like how would you resolve these kind of things to both of you?
I think that at the end of the day, I'll take up the workload because, like, after all, I am kind of in charge of like to make sure that the whole committee goes well, that everyone will work together. But if it does not happen, it will definitely, I have some kind of responsibility, so I'll definitely take it up.
Definitely, like if it's really urgent, I'll definitely take it on myself or work with the other committee members, like president or other directors to resolve this issue ASAP. And after this whole thing has kind of passed, ask the person like who didn't want to do the job, why exactly that they did not want to do the job, and ask if they are really, and just kind of figure out why. And if it's still continually repeated again and again, then definitely have to start asking if they really are committed to the role in the first place, and if there's better alternatives to solving the solution.
Okay, thank you for your answers. I think that's for that one. I have one last question for Lin. You guys have more questions? I have one question for Lin Ying. It's on your manifesto. So it talked about actual career fair. And this is actually something that the society has always been pushing for. It's a really great idea. But the thing is, because there's a very big conflict with LSE careers, so basically for firms who want to talk to us, they always have to pay. So like networking session and stuff, they're paying LSE careers. So LSE has a very strong opinion against having something that's under the society, especially for something to do with recruitment. So how do you go about, how do you think you would go about solving this obstacle?
To clarify, the firms pay the career society, is it?
LSE, no, basically for firms to have direct recruitment with LSE students, I think they will have to pay a certain amount of fee to LSE careers in order to have this opportunity. So to have an actual careers fair means you need like a lot of actual firms there, right? And if it's done under the society's name, LSE careers will most likely go against it. So how would you think you'll go about resolving this issue?
I'll definitely talk to the LSE career person in charge, and I have no idea why do we have to pay them in the first place, so I'll find out the reason, and then I'll make sure that what we are doing does not clash with what they are doing, so that like in the sense that we like in the sense that we don't have anything in common, and like we wouldn't have to pay for it, I guess. If we really have to pay for it, I guess we can negotiate and
Okay,
work
wait.
on it.
It's not us paying, it's the firm paying LSE career to recruit.
Oh,
Yeah.
the firms,
That's
yeah,
not- yeah.
because career fair asks for it, right, from the firms, is it?
Yeah, kind of like that. LSE careers. No, because the SOP is in order for a firm to host a recruitment event with us, they somehow have to pay a fee to LSE careers. So if you're gonna ask like 10 firms to send representatives and come to recruit people without having this fee paid to LSE careers, they're not gonna be happy, and this is not how it works.
Yeah, so we'll talk to like the career fair, like why is it so, and make sure that it does not like make sure that what we are holding does not clash, and hopefully they can change the policy or something. Yeah, like talk to them.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess
Can
that's
I-
the best way.
Can I add on to
Yeah,
that?
yeah, go ahead.
So I think instead of having a direct recruitment with just our society where they have to pay LSE careers, I think the firm, we can work something out with the firm where they can have kind of like a open day event with the firm, talking about their firms, like the normal open day recruitment kind of things. And we work with them specifically to say, we ask our members, our LSE Actuarial Society members, are they interested in going for this, for like going to find out more about this firm, and they are also looking for recruitment, so you have a chance at that. So it wouldn't directly be like the firms recruiting our members. We send them a list of our members, the names of them, they're from LSE, these people are interested in attending this event. So if you'd like to help it, definitely you can have a chance of recruiting students from LSE to join your internship programs and all those like spring weeks or whatnot as well. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I have a question for Nadine.
Yeah.
So as a vice president, it is important for you to be able to carry out your tasks without having too much help from other people. So could you elaborate more on why you were not able to secure a speaker at a session dedicated to you for the actual conference? And if you have a chance, what would you do differently to make sure that the host department are able to secure their sponsors? Sorry, not sponsors, as in their speakers for each session.
Okay, so I did manage to secure a speaker, but he wanted compensation. So unfortunately, I have to let him go because I don't think we have like the funding and budget to do that. So, but Ariel managed to find a speaker, so I think it's fine. But when it comes to like securing sponsors and speakers, although we did start quite early, but I think it wasn't early enough yet. Although we had like the whole list of speakers and everything in the spreadsheet, which we had to refer to. I think it also took time for the committee to approve each and every one of it. So that kind of delayed the process of sending out our messages and stuff. So definitely like do it earlier, and kind of you can set like a general template, like what Ira has already done, like a template on what the messages should sound like. And after you find a speaker, you can just maybe just make it more efficient, just sending it out first. And then the list will still be there in the spreadsheet, which you can just check over anytime, but to just make it more efficient, just send it out as soon as you find a speaker first. And if anything, like they decide like, oh, they can't make it, there's always the chances that they can't make it, they want compensation, all that. So we can deal with that later, but what's more important is just sending out more emails first to increase our chances of just securing a speaker. And I think the topic we did this year for the actual conference, it was like I was focusing more on diversity as well. So that's why like I didn't really send like speakers. I already knew we had like quite a lot of male and Asian speakers. So I was trying to look for more female or other speakers that are not like Asian. So I think that's why that I wasn't really able to secure another speaker for my session in particular. But I did, amongst the list of all those I sent, I still managed to find one, which for the judge for the case competition. So yeah, I think just sending emails out earlier and just doing it mass emails first before nitpicking before filtering, nitpicking and refining our choices of who we decide to settle with.
So do we have any more questions for VP candidates?
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what do you guys think are the main role difference between president and vice president? And how do you guys balance the workload between president and vice president?
I think that this also goes down to communicating. Like, honestly, the role of president and vice president does actually like clash, not clash, but like they are kind of similar. So whenever the president is not around, the vice president will have to take up the role to like chair the meetings and everything. But most importantly, I think that you have to communicate and delegate the work well among yourself.
So definitely president and vice president roles overlap. So maybe like I'm better with, I enjoy like designing posters. I love all that. I've experienced events and all that. So if I was vice president, I could definitely help out more with marketing and events as well. And president, maybe they could take up CR and research if they're better at that. So that's in terms of delegating, we were all, president and vice president were definitely in charge of overlooking the direction of the whole society, but also laying the groundwork and going to help directors or subcoms if needed. So definitely leverage on what we're stronger at to get work done.
Okay, thank you for your answers. Any more questions? No. Online. Okay, calling once, twice. Okay, thank you, VP candidates. Thank you, Nadine. Okay, we'll do secretary, then treasurer, and then we do a short 15 minutes break for you to rest your brains before we come back. Okay, so for secretary, we have Saroop.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Saroop. I'm a first year studying actuarial science, and I'm excited to put myself forward for being your secretary. I've been inspired by our dedicated network of aspiring actuaries, and I wish to contribute by continuing to educate and promote people's understanding of our profession. I believe the role of secretary is the best way for me to apply my skill set so that I can provide a meaningful contribution to our society. I wish to use my strong organisational skills to ensure that all of our events are thoroughly planned, documented, and booked. As secretary, I will make extremely detailed minutes of all the events we hold so that everyone can stay up to date. Previously, I've organised many events such as charity fundraisers where I was required to make bookings, send concise emails, and think quickly on my feet. So I believe I'm well suited to the role, and I'll be able to use my determination and proactivity to make our society flourish. Being a finalist for the actuarial case competition really helped my passion for actuarial science shine through, as I was able to research the profession on a deeper level by considering future impacts to the job role. I think it's crucial for us to be up to date with current issues and affairs, and how this can potentially affect the role of actuaries. So for this reason, as secretary, I will publish frequent newsletters, providing you with information surrounding societal and news updates. I thoroughly enjoy writing and have previously submitted opinion articles to the Financial Times, so I will effectively be able to apply my strengths to provide you with detailed information about current events, affairs, and what we can learn from it as actuaries. My current role on the Student Staff Liaison Committee for the Stats Department means I have gained a lot of feedback on your views, and I wish to implement my acquired knowledge to our society. One idea in particular is to introduce a more effective mentoring scheme so that students can help each other from across the years to increase our sense of community. I'd also love to implement more social events and weekly drop-in sessions so that everyone is more connected. So thank you for listening, and I'd appreciate your vote for secretary so that I can use my strong organizational skills and put all of our visions into practice. Thank you.
Right, I want to ask the first question. So as you know, the role of the secretary requires a lot of administrative work, and like you said, when you submit articles, you always submit articles, so you probably know a lot about proofreading. So for a document as important as a manifesto, can you explain why is there a typo in it?
Sorry, is there a typo? So I think.
Do you know where the typo is?
So, okay, I understand where you're coming from. I think when I'm drafting emails and sending important documents and contacting the SU in order to book events, I will double check my work. But I think maybe perhaps with the poster, I think I didn't actually know when I was applying that I had to have a poster. So if you see the time that I sent it like 3, 4 in the morning. So I think that's probably the reason. But I think obviously when it comes down to it, I will double check. But I think just in terms of this, in terms of time constraints. So sorry about that.
Okay, no, that's fine. If you guys are wondering, it's alumni, it's spelled wrong for you. So yeah, okay, that's fine. Next question is you talking about your experience as the SSLC, and you collect a lot of feedback, isn't it? So as far as I'm aware of, on top of the list, I remember that you were absent. So I was just wondering, how did you actually communicate this feedback to the Department of Statistics, given that you were not able to attend the meeting?
So through email, I've done a lot of contacting with the people who run the meetings. I have contacted Futa as well in the past, sharing my views with him so that he can pass it on in the meetings. But I think I think I'm very good at sending concise emails. So I've gathered my feedback and sent it via email as I was not able to attend in person. But I have made my contribution, especially in the first term. I was very actively talking to everyone from the stats department on the different courses, and then gaining all of the feedback and then sharing it with everyone.
I have one more question, not like the current, sorry, yeah, kind of. No. So I have one more question on like the current affairs thing. So you were talking about like a lot of current affairs. So could you name a few like actual current affairs that you think people should know, but unfortunately haven't been publicized?
So obviously the climate change one is the most obvious one because that was what the actuarial case competition was about. And I think it's really important for such affairs like climate change, because before the actuarial case competition, I hadn't myself knew how climate change would actually affect our profession. So I think giving people an insight into things like that, but also like new things about what's going on with Ukraine and Russia, and for example, potential like war threats and how that might affect insurance, etc. So I think there's a lot of current issues that will impact our job role looking forward, and just being able to research that myself and then share my understanding with everyone else. I'm really excited to do that.
Hi, I have a question. So, as a secretary, you would have a lot of engagement with the SU, as well as you need to attend like the society meetings I don't know how frequent would you want to attend like society meetings, because you mentioned about like taking meeting minutes, etc. So could you elaborate, is it to be present for all society meeting, including like the ones with subcommittee and within division, or is it just like the main meeting? And then my second question is about how well do you understand how should a society engage with SU, and what is the frequency you have to engage with SU?
Okay, so to answer your first question, I will 100% be attending all of the events so that people who have missed out on the event, I will be able to provide them with a newsletter to provide information to everyone, because I think personally one thing that I missed out from was if I've ever missed an actuarial event, not having that insight means that perhaps going into future events you kind of miss out. I think this term I've been more actively engaged in the society simply because I've been finding out more about it. So I think those newsletters will really help people who perhaps don't attend the events to actually want to attend the events. And in terms of which meetings I will attend as many as I can so that I can stay up to date and like help certain divisions as well, because even though I'm secretary, I'd 100% like help anyone who needs a bit of help, or due to like their time constraints, I'm happy to step in where I can. And then in terms of the second question about the student union, I think I would like to have like a time plan so that at the beginning of the year we know exactly what like the flagship events are and like kind of what we want to see, what events we want to see in each term, and then from that timeline I'll be able to make room bookings and plan everything in advance. Because I know that contacting the student union is quite a hassle sometimes, and in terms of like on email they're not very responsive, but I do know that in the building they have like an office drop-in session so that I can actually go physically in person if they're not to respond to my emails, so that we can get everything done, everything booked, and so that people can actually plan. So for example, like members of our society, like if everything's booked in advance, they can plan their timelines and then they can attend our events as well.
Just one more follow-up question from me. So you mentioned about the society drop-in from the SU. So sometimes there would be a lot of people and you need to queue around like 1 hour plus just to ask your simple question. So do you think you would be able to take up this role, like to attend all the SU drop-in as required? Or do you think you would need like the president or like the vice president to assist you on that?
So I understand that obviously the president and vice president have their roles, and I think my role is very much about like organizing it, making all the bookings, documentation, and like the planning. So I will definitely stick with my role, and if I do need help, because obviously sometimes like we are under pressure and like there's certain things going on, so if I needed help then I would definitely like reach out to the rest of the society and ask if anyone is available, but I would take that on myself because I think that is what is required and I don't want to put that burden on anyone else.
Yes, you mentioned about newsletters just now, actually going back. So what are you planning? How are you planning to do newsletters? Like, do you know what software do you use? Do you know what do we use to produce newsletters right now? Or do you have anything in mind that you would like to use to produce newsletters to the society?
So I really enjoy writing, and when I submitted some opinion articles for the Financial Times, I had a really nice like template, nice structure. I'd have our LSESU like logo on there for the Actuarial Society, and I'd have nice formatting and kind of like a nice like subtle background to make it eye-catching as well. But I think in terms of like distributing our newsletters, I know that sometimes things get lost via email. I know that our email boxes are always clogged up. So perhaps like sending it via maybe the group chat so that people can just see one clear document. It's easy to read, because I know that a lot of people don't tend to check their emails as frequent, but I would also use emails because if people know that there will be these frequent newsletters, then they will look out for it.
Okay, I think that's all from us. Do you guys have any more questions? We're good? Okay, good. Thank you, Saroop.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so moving on, we're going to have our treasurer sort of candidate. Let us welcome. It's myself. Let's just have Blaze. Let me. Yeah, if you want a mic, it's on the table. I don't know.
I don't think they can hear you online.
Really? Oh.
Yes. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Wong, and I'm running for treasurer for academic year 2022 and 20/23. This year, there are two main manifestos that I would like to promote. And first, before that, I would like to talk about myself. I'm a first-year actuarial science student, and I would love to be part of the team. Firstly, my main manifesto is to bring in more funding for the society, to have more workshops and social events to optimize your experience in our society. As mentioned before by our president and vice president candidates, some of them mentioned pub socials, even theater trips and monthly trips to Brighton. And possibly we could even use the funds to support funding for our career resource packs. Secondly, I would like to have a more, sorry, I can't see. I would like to introduce an improved feedback system between members and committee. This is because I would like to use your voice to know more about our next step. I pledge to have an improved feedback system to optimize what we should do, and of course, emphasize and prioritize your experience, because I believe I want your £2 to make it worthwhile for the whole academic year. And lastly, why me? Having previous experience as a treasurer in St. John Ambulance Malaysia Kuala Lumpur Combined Cadet Division, I believe my bookkeeping experience is what makes me stand out as a treasurer candidate for Actuarial Society. Secondly, I'm also an approachable and passionate, an approachable person and passionate to serve the society.
Sorry, 2 minutes up.
Oh.
You can just wrap up, yeah.
Oh yeah. One last thing. Vote for Wong. There's nothing will go wrong. Yeah, that's all.
Next, we're gonna have Shin Rong.
So a very good afternoon to the core committee of Actuarial Society 2021-2022, fellow contestants, and all the attendees online and in person. Okay, I would like to start off with a little introduction about myself. My name is Shin Rong Po, and I'm studying actuarial science and currently in my first year. I've been involving in the marketing subcommittee of Actuarial Society, and I would like to hereby to say a huge thank you to Liven Tan, but she's not here. I'd like to thank her very much for her guidance throughout the journey as a marketing director, and not forgetting a very big shout out to my colleague, Benedict Fong. He's also not here. So today I'm going to run for the position of treasurer. And there are a few things that I would like to address if I'm elected as the treasurer of Actuarial Society. So I've got some things here that I would like to address. So I think that budgeting, planning, and forecasting are three key working elements as a treasurer. I'll firstly make a budget plan ahead that includes all the planned events of the upcoming year. With thorough planning and discussion, I'll set fundraising targets and advise on fundraising strategy. This will then ensure a greater income generated than expenses. Right. Moreover, I will uphold the need of transparency in managing finance of the society. This could be achieved through constant reporting of financial statement of society to be shared with the committee and members. Besides, all financial transactions will only be made with core committee approval in accordance to the annual budget. So as displayed on the poster, I believe that the top 5 qualities of treasurer that I'm currently possessing now. And I also have got some treasurer experience in the past. And I was the treasurer of College Tuanku Jaffa International School Prom Committee. And that has rendered me an experience of handling a fund amount as much as 18,000. Okay, so last but not least, a little fun fact about myself is that I think relevant to my job as a treasurer would be, I actually know a little of man haircut. So I guess that could be a potential income for the society, as I readily offer myself to be the barber of Actuarial Society,
Okay,
as long as you guys are ready.
thank you,
Yes,
Shane.
that's it.
Okay. Let's back on stage. Yeah, let's start with our Q&A.
Hi, so both of you said you want to increase the funding of our society. So can you elaborate on how specifically you want to do that?
So can I go first? To increase the funding of Actuarial Society, I think planning is a very good thing. So we need to have a very good planning. What I can think of now is that we could organize more sales, such as t-shirt sales, hoodie sales. I believe that could generate a great income. Let's go.
Yeah. So judging from the past, the current committee that has been doing fundraising, for example, guess how many seats are the pomegranate, that one. So I was thinking of having a fundraising event such as a theater trip, which may not be subsidized. And secondly, we could reach out to more sponsors other than our existing ones, because I believe, judging by LSE's prestigious name, there are many more firms who are willing to sponsor us as our main sponsors. So that is another source of sponsorship that we can get funds from. And and I believe not just UK firms that we could reach out to. Globally, I believe Deloitte China and many other Malaysian firms, insurance space, are willing to sponsor us globally. So that's another source of funding that we could bring into.
So just so you know, a major source of income is also funding from the SU, which we applied this year, and we got like £4,000 for it. So
Hi guys, speaking of sponsors, I wonder how familiar are you guys with what is our current sponsorship process, and how many firms and companies have we approached to seek for sponsorship? And I think I like your idea of having the different companies from different regions to support our society, but could you perhaps elaborate on how do you make the society stand out? And yeah, basically elaborate a bit more on how familiar you are with the entire sponsorship thing.
So for the current sponsors, what I know is that our platinum sponsors are Pacific Life Re, and gold sponsors are Gen Re, and the last one is KPMG. However, according to Minja, KPMG has not, they have not paid us yet. So we could try to reach out to others by, we could pitch what we have in our society. For example, as mentioned by our president and vice president candidates, we could tell that we could showcase them how many members we have and what activities that we have done. For example, the actuarial conference and the case study workshops, to show that we have students who are truly enthusiastic to pursue a career in such field, and may even bring value to their firm in the future. And I believe such an investment is worth it for their future companies' income growing.
Okay, so she has already mentioned all the sponsors that we currently have. So I'll go about on the 5-star award by student union. There are few elements that we need to achieve to be in order to achieve 5 stars. So I guess this is a very strong point. If we have got 5 stars, we can approach the sponsors to let them know that this is what we have got. And I think proof is there. This is what we have got. And I guess this is very strong evidence that we are a very efficient society.
Okay, to correct, the funding with KPMG is not like they haven't paid us, it's more like LSE cannot process it, so we need a lot of time admin work to go through it. Technically, they pay, just that we cannot process their slip, their PO. So yeah. On Shinrong's point, can you repeat what's 5-star?
Sorry, that's gold star, right? My bad, I apologize.
Okay.
Okay.
It's okay. Okay, let me continue my question to Blaze first. So as I've asked some of the candidates, so as a non-subcom member, so obviously Shinrong's a subcom and you're not, how would you say you are more confident than him to perform your duties in the society, given that you just started joining us this year?
I believe it would be my experiences in high school and till now. So, for example, I've done an internship that is not related to marketing at all, and somehow I managed to get on the ground running with whatever we have, whatever I had back then. So, secondly, I believe, and second example would be the fact that I'm also a part of the ELF marketing team, whereby I did not have any experience in doing such formal marketing as well. And lastly, it would be related to treasury. Last time in high school, I did not have any experiences in managing bookkeeping at all. However, with guidance from seniors and from my peers, that's what makes me have a bit more, a better advantage compared to others. So I believe not being in the subcommittee is not a problem for me to catch up as quick as others.
A follow-up on that, could you tell us how many of our events have you attended throughout this entire year?
I have attended I think I have only missed a few. I guess not more than 3 that I have missed throughout the year.
I attended the first event whereby it was the Give It a Go, that one. And yeah, I think mostly because of COVID restrictions that I am a little bit afraid to attend. So
You managed to attend our few online events since you mentioned COVID restrictions, and we did have, I think, a few which sign up was absolutely low, which was why we decided to move it back physical.
I believe that clashed with my timetable a bit, so I did not attend.
To follow up on that, if you have not attended most of our events this year, if you were to be elected in the treasurer position next year, would you be attending all of the events next year? And what do you think you can contribute to the events being a treasurer?
Regarding attending, I think that if I were to be elected, that is a part of my responsibility to attend all events. And regarding how I would contribute, possibly I would try to support the corporate relations director if they have any funding needs that I could give support with. And also if any, because I believe the society, I see society as a team. And I believe if I have any ideas that I contribute, I would give some of my 2 cents as well. So yeah.
So this is a question for Blaze. So could you elaborate more on how you plan to allocate our funds strategically?
First of all, regarding the funds strategically allocated, I would give you that there's no need to elaborate on percentage. Oh, okay. Regarding that, I would try to make a budget plan on how much we should spend on social events. Secondly is our conference. Thirdly, on how much we could subsidize other events. And I believe that's what we could, that's what I plan to allocate with. Yeah.
Okay, back to Shin Rong on your manifesto.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate more about how you mean by fundraising strategy on your
Fundraising
manifesto?
strategy.
Yeah.
Okay, so my first plan is to make a budget plan that already allocate based on the fund amount that you have mentioned just now. So after that, I will see how much we are lacking of that amount. And after that, we have to think of the plans to like make up for the lack of fund amount. So I guess there will be a discussion between me and marketing department, and maybe, yeah, for sure, president and vice president have to be involved as well. Yeah, that's after discussion.
Yeah, so I have a question for both of you. So the treasurer usually has relatively less responsibility compared to other positions. So not to say it's not important, it's quite important also. But just like if you're elected, how would you offer help to other departments that require more manpower? So like for example, like this year, Victor actually helped me for the research pack as well. So like, do you have any plans like how would you help other departments out?
For me, I have already experienced as a marketing subcommittee, so I can render my experience as a marketing experience. So I've done quite a lot of posters through Canva, and I believe that I've learned a lot of skills in designing very nice posters that fulfill aesthetic value and marketing ability. Yeah, I guess I can contribute more on marketing department besides being my role as a treasurer.
And regarding the question, I believe the society I see a society as a team as well, as mentioned before. So I believe everyone has their own strength and weakness. So similar to Shin Rong, I also have marketing experience with Canva, Adobe Pro. And besides that, I believe I could try to support the corporate relations department as well, because I spent most of my first years reaching out to industry professionals and networking with them. So I believe my email templates could give a little bit of help. And
Right, so that's all from the committee. So yeah, go ahead. So this is a question for both of you. Both of you mentioned that you have some experience as a treasurer previously. Can you tell us about like the biggest challenges you faced as the treasurer and how do you tackle it?
I guess the biggest challenges would be lacking of fund. So in order to get more money, we have to think of the way to earn money. So yeah, we have to think of the way to earn money. How do we generate income? Like I said, a lot of sales that we can make, like selling t-shirts, selling movie tickets, theater tickets, and whatever. Yeah, whatever we can think of. Selling flowers as well.
So based on my experience as a treasurer back in St. John, what we have, the biggest problem is that during Flag Day, we have 2 teams. One team is for our home Malaysia division to give back to them. Second one is for our own schools division. So we have this dilemma whether to get more money for the whole St. John Malaysia or St. John our school. So fundraising is a problem. And secondly is the fact that we have to manage the bank account we should really, we actually have problem on getting access to the accounts available and how we should get the person in charge information. So that's kind of a huge problem that I faced back then. So, yeah.
So how do you tackle it?
How do I tackle it? For the person in charge, he's a senior, so I tried reaching out through WhatsApp, and for the funding part, we had two different teams getting funds from different locations during flag day. So I believe that's not a problem that we face that is that huge that reach the extent cannot solve.
All right, thank you. Any more questions? Good, online, good. Okay, so we're gonna thank you, both of you. We're gonna take like a 10 minutes break. We'll come back at 1:20 and we're gonna continue. Okay, yeah, good job, guys. Hi, we're starting soon. Is Blaze back? I don't think so. Is she coming? Is Apita coming? Okay. Is she picking up? Okay, then we shall start first. If she makes it, then she makes it. If she doesn't, then we'll see what we can do. Okay, so we'll have analysts first then. One second, let me move off it.
Hi guys, my name is Emily and today I'll be running for the corporate relations director. The reason I'm making a jump into the executive board of the Actuarial Society is because I really enjoyed my time throughout as a subcommittee. I really enjoyed my time throughout as a subcommittee member of the corporate relation division. I've learned so much throughout the past 6 months, like sending out and drafting formal emails. Even though out of like 100 emails I've sent, I would only get like 5 replies. Liaising with professionals and even seeing the process of how the actual conference has been planned from scratch. These are my visions and aims, as you can see on my manifesto, but my main vision would be to constantly being active in seeking new sponsorship for the society to fund new initiatives, because after hearing so many great new ideas from our president and vice president candidates, I'm pretty sure everybody is excited as well. Next, I also intend to have more collaborations with actual societies from universities across UK, let's say Kent, Queen Mary, Heriot Ward. This way, our members can meet students from other societies and maybe understand and learn things from a different perspective as well. And I think this would be really beneficial. Furthermore, I would like to promote the presence of this profession, as I don't think a lot of people know what an actuary does. I'll do this by coordinating with other departments, with the directors of other departments, and focus on equipping our members with skills needed to progress into the industry. After all, our society's main aim is equipping the actuaries of tomorrow. I guess I'll move on to why me. Firstly, I have the ability to cope with pressure. I'm resilient and eager to be learning new stuff. My experience as a subcommittee member allowed me to have an overview of how the corporate relation division worked, and I believe I'm ready to take on the
Sorry,
challenge.
time's up.
I look forward to challenging myself and embarking on a journey of continuous self-improvement. Thank you.
Hi, it's me again. My name is Wong, and I'm a first-year actuarial science student. This for the coming term, my manifestos are introducing more mentoring initiative between members with professional alumni in the industry. Secondly, I plan to have an increased networking opportunities through company visits, regardless if it's actuarial or non-actuarial. Thirdly, I hope to strengthen relationship with partners so that final year members are fast-tracked before graduation at their company of interest. And lastly, I hope to diversify corporate partners to cater to members' desired company. For example, currently we have our platinum, gold, and sponsor, which are Pacific Life Regen Re and KPMG. I hope to diversify it to a different sector of field, such as consulting. This could be example of Roland Berger, which is because I believe LC students are much more inclined, not just towards actuarial field, but different industries as well. So that's a great initiative that I think our members could benefit from. And lastly, why me? It will be my previous experience as head prefect, which equips me with effective communication skills with different people. And last but not least, I'm passionate to serve the society and promote the actuarial field. That's all for me.
Hi everyone, it's Nadine again. I'll be running for CI director as well. So if elected, I will focus on two key areas to benefit our society's members. Similar to what I've mentioned earlier, I would like to advance the members' careers by reaching out to more actuarial and non-actuarial firms to increase the number of networking opportunities for the members. I would also hope to organize more collaborative workshops with other LSE-SU societies, such as coding or even data science, to have workshops on technical skills, similar to like our past event, which is the Actuarial Society and Coding Society collaboration. So to me, having effective communication is crucial as a CR director, and I intend on building lasting relationships with our sponsors and speakers by having more information transparency to ensure members, committee members, sponsors, and speakers are kept up to date with our plans and schedules. I will also work closely with the other divisions to ensure a higher level of member engagement for events and retention of current members. Having had previous experience as a CR subcommittee member, I believe that I'm resilient and suited for this role. Thank you, and I hope to have your vote.
We will now invite all candidates on stage. Has Afrita got back to you? No. Okay, that's fine. Do you have questions or shall I start first? Okay, I'm going to start first with a very general and hopefully easy question. So, to three of you, what do you think is the main selling point of the society? And how, since CR is essentially selling the society to sponsors.
So, based on my experience, if we, for example, based on my experience as an A-level student, the first thing whenever I think of actuarial science is basically LSE, because that's the only prestigious school that I know that I should apply for. And secondly, it's because of the exemption. So what I'm trying to say is, it's the prestigious names that we could bring and firms would see as an attractive part that they would be enticed to sponsor us. And secondly, would be the engagement rate of our members, because judging by the fact that the actuarial conference, it's not just our own members that attended, but we also collaborated with other actuarial societies from different unis, such as City and not City, Warwick. Oh yeah, that's all.
Okay, thank you for your time. I think I agree what you said. I can categorize 3 main points, I guess. First, I guess would definitely be LSE's reputation. We're known for having passionate, highly driven students who are really ambitious in their careers, and this is one of our selling points. Then companies, sponsors, they can establish their brands and presence. The second would definitely be they will be able to have the chance to connect with many different other universities when sponsoring us, and many other qualitative related societies, because of our flagship event, the Actuarial Conference, where we're collaborating with so many other universities like Kent, City, and then the third one would definitely be recruiting talents, like, because we're one of the largest actuarial society in London, and LSE is one of the top London schools. This would enhance their recruiting opportunities and make it easier for them to recruit talents. Thank you.
So definitely our LSE's reputation would put us in a high position as to what getting sponsors or speakers when pitching our unique selling point, and also our past achievements, like how many events we've held, what kind of events we've held, and the type of sponsors and speakers we've attracted from big firms and MDs or managers, all that. I think that will also put us in a higher position. And also our flagship events, we are definitely more well known for it, like the Actuarial Conference, Actuarial Case Study, definitely attracting students from universities all across UK to help to participate in this event, which we can use as a selling point to sponsors.
Okay, thank you for the answers. I'm sorry, I just saw your message, please. Do you still want to continue?
Yes, it is.
You want to continue on? Okay, that's fine. So next, I'm going to ask.
One of the key things that you would want to look at when looking for sponsorship, and more particular question, because since you were part of the CSR team, what would you do to regain that kind of sponsorship? We can start with the first question. What would you do to get the sponsor?
What am I looking for? Sorry, what am I looking for in sponsors?
Oh yeah.
Okay. What am I looking for in sponsors first? I think definitely what I'm looking for in sponsors, their firms would be what their goals and visions are, to make sure that it aligns with our own vision. I've done some research to see like our past sponsors like PwC, Legal and General, and some other sponsors that didn't. I'm so sorry. Okay. I've done some research like from the past, like we have PwC, Legal and General, all these, and I've also looked out for companies that we didn't approach, and I found this company Broadstone, where they are individual providers of like pensions, specialist pensions, trustees, and employee benefit solution, and they really focus on teamwork. One of their core values are teamwork, and they really focus on helping each other strive to improve. And I think this really aligns with our society's vision, equipping the actuaries of tomorrow. So the main thing I would look for in sponsors would definitely be their goals and vision to see if it aligns with us.
So firstly, it would definitely be the industry they're in. So since we're an actuarial society, I find the main focus would be on actuarial firms first, and of course, making sure that our values align is also very important. But I think most importantly is also asking our members, which I suggested like the monthly survey, and exactly what kind of insurance they're most into, or like whether they're into pensions, life insurance, and whatnot. And from there, you can kind of narrow it down to which kind of firms and sponsors you want, so that when it comes to making events or collaborating for events, you'll be able to get the best of the best to come and speak at these events. So this will definitely fulfill what our members would want, and yeah, like I mentioned, also values, but also industry is very important.
Or can you repeat the question? Oh, I think as mentioned by both Annalise and Nadine, I think the vision and goals are important. But what I would like to add on is possibly what they can offer. For example, if for actuarial conference, you have to invite speakers. So it would be best if corporate relations, we could reach out to firms as that has professional speakers that we could utilize and possibly save on work that we could do. Because I believe if they are our sponsors, they have a little bit of responsibility to respond to our requests because it would look good on them. So yeah, I think that's all.
Yeah, thank you for your answer. So just to clarify, we did look for our sponsors. Unfortunately, just because they are our sponsors, they felt that they didn't want to participate because they're too busy on that. So yeah, that's just to clarify the sponsor part. Next is to Liz as well. So I've asked you this question before, but given that you are a non-subcommittee member and CR is a very, very happy sort of role because there's a lot of things to do. So how would you envision your role in CR to look like as a CR director, and how do you plan the CR subcoms moving forward?
So you're trying to say what?
No, I'm just asking what is your, because you were part of the subcom, so like probably Nadine and Annalise will have seen a little bit from their experience in the subcom, like so they probably have like a clear vision of what they want to do. But for you, because you don't have this experience, so from an outsider's point of view, so how would you envision your tenure in the CR as a CR director will look like, and how do you think you will want to lead your CR subcoms?
I think first and foremost, I would have to seek out advice from the current committee of CR and ask for advice from my CR subcommittees as well, because they have much more experience than I do. However, I believe experience is something that I could gain over time. So I guess peer guidance is something that I could have as a thing that could guide me.
Right, okay, thank you for your answer. Let's have more questions. Maybe to Annalise, actually to all of you. Do you guys have anyone in mind on who you want to approach to sponsor us next year? And what are your plans with our current sponsors? Anyone can start.
For current sponsors, I think hopefully to maintain our relationship with them if they would like to. I think that we have to clarify a bit more with the current CR director and you guys as a whole. And for potential sponsors, I think you mentioned Barnett Waddingham as one of them. So definitely want to be a top priority in our list to reach out, the first few sponsors to reach out for.
Yeah, so do you have anyone in mind whom you want to approach to sponsor our society next year? And what are your plans for the current sponsors?
Current sponsors, okay. I think I'll go with the second question first. Current sponsors, I think to continue, I'll definitely bring up an overview of what we've done throughout the year to tell them and how
our participation rate and all the stats given to show them like we're actually planning ahead and doing something. And maybe we could also work on like what we could have done better to tell them, and maybe let them know about how our flagship event, the actual conference, went, to persuade them to continue sponsoring us and give them like advantages of like what other advantages there could be if they were to sponsor us. And I think I mentioned just now, I was looking at like this firm, Broadstone, and I think we can possibly approach them as well, because I personally think our values align. And potential firms, I think, because we have a list right now, and we have contacted many small firms, medium average firms, and those speakers, and there are some that got back to us and said like they're looking forward like to work together in the future. So I think we could possibly contact them this list to increase our chances of getting funds for new initiatives.
I guess one firm that I would have in mind to reach out is probably HSBC's wealth division, because they actually have life insurance that we could benefit from if we get the recruiters and there are people that are currently working in that division, so that we could have a little bit of insight of, so we could even have a job like job shadowing possibilities or insight of what they do in life. And secondly, on maintaining our current sponsors, I guess we could give them a brief overview of what benefit that they would get if they were our sponsors. For example, they could get exclusive access to our students through their resumes or even contact details, which non-sponsors would not have access to. So they could be more enticed to sponsor us in future.
Thank you. Does anyone have questions from the floor? Yeah.
The past few years, our society has not been attracting on in terms of like getting more than 2 sponsors. So how would you bring that change about? Would you want to, obviously you want to get more sponsors. How would you bring more firms to sponsor us? What would you change about getting firms to sponsor us?
So your question is how to get more sponsors. Regarding that, it's important to highlight our activities that what we have been doing so long. It could be like as mentioned before, it could be the conference, or it could be the members' engagement rate, and basically how we should show them how we utilize the funds that they have given us, so that they could feel that we are really optimizing the money that they've given, and it could even bring value to them in the future. So that's one way of attracting more sponsors.
Actually, this came across my mind because throughout the time where we're searching for speakers, we're actually trying to look for female speakers, and it was really hard because actuarial science is kind of like a male-dominated industry. So I was thinking like maybe we could have events, like, or maybe in our conference we could have an event like women present. This is not to reduce like less men like or on stage or anything, but it's definitely because we're all in it for like people to share their expertise and knowledge on it for us to gain insight. So I was thinking like maybe if we could make like gender diversity, like make this issue like talk about this issue, like have like a panel like women's presence in this industry, and maybe this could be a selling point of our society as well and attract more sponsors. And after all, we're listening to voices from like many different variety of like aspects.
Firstly, I think we already have a huge list that we've compiled of potential small and big firms. Definitely we can update it first, maybe like futures.com or the current committee members, we can just update that list first. And as for attracting more sponsors, I think we first have to clarify the previous committee exactly like why they do not want to sponsor us. Maybe there's something we are not mentioning in the email, or maybe there's something we've got to include inside it. So definitely clarify that first. And then after that, definitely leverage on our past achievements and future trajectories and statistics of like what we can achieve and what we've already achieved. I think that's very important when it comes to sponsors. So yeah.
Okay, I have one last question. Because as you guys know, CR is in charge of the actual conference. So from your experience in the actual conference 2022, whether in person or online, it was held 3 days ago on Saturday. So what do you think we did well, and what do you think we could have gone better for the conference?
Personally, I like the topics that you guys have picked because one, if not mistaken, one of them was blockchain. So I think the society has been keeping up with the trend that is a hot topic in the current in the current era. So I think it is a right platform that promotes commercial awareness, not only among members, but the society as well. So that's what I like the most.
I agree with what they said. I think what we did well was really on researching the topics, because we're taking into account like research department, they did research as well, and then the CR department, we personally did like find out what topics, because Aaron and Vedant told us to find a list of what the panel session and each session. Yeah, I think that one went really well because we're taking ideas in from many different departments and many different people, and it's kind of like the whole society is contributing to it. What could have went well, personally, I think is the timeline. Even though we've started, it's not that early, yeah. So we were having troubles finding speakers, and it was getting closer and closer to the day. So we had to postpone the conference. So I think it would be better if we can do better if we have everything planned out, like at the very, very start, since like this is our flagship event at the very start. So it wouldn't clash with our exams, like or people going on holidays. And then if we have everything planned out, we have like a skeleton of like what we're all gonna do already. So I think it will move on better like that.
I think overall the actuarial conference went pretty well, and I think like we had networking opportunities with like the speakers before they left. Lunch was good as well, and the panel session and all the talks, they were all very informative and covered many different aspects of the industry, not just like pensions or something. We covered like climate change and blockchain and all that. I think that was a very interesting topic, and our panel session was also really good. I think the turnout, definitely something to improve on would be the turnout rate. I think like we had way more people sign up, like maybe online I saw there was about 60 plus people during the thing. So I think that was good. But if more people could have turned out physically, I think that would have been much better. But since it's our first time doing a hybrid event as well, I think it was handled really well. So to improve this, I think definitely having maybe like, yeah, starting earlier, sending out emails earlier. I know we had our deadline in December, but I don't think we really stuck to it, which is probably why everything just kept getting delayed. So I think definitely sticking to our schedules next time will ensure that, turnout rates will be higher, and we're able to outreach to more universities and find speakers more efficiently in the future.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions? Good. Okay, thank you, three of you. Well, next move on to events. Our events director Stephanie is joining us online because of some personal issues. But I think the first candidate is Yongbing. No, is it? No. Or was it Shin? Oh, it's Lewis. I'm sorry, Lewis. Okay.
before that, Stephanie, can you hear us? Can you put like a thumbs up? Yeah, okay.
If it's green, then it's.
Hello, is that it? Yeah. As you can tell, my technical skills aren't very good. Okay. Okay, good, yeah. Hi, everyone. Welcome to my pitch to you for your vote for events director. I truly believe that I'm the right candidate for this role and will deliver on all the promises I'm about to make. The Actuarial Society has been one of the highlights of this academic year for me, and so many new friends and connections have been made. And I hope that we can continue this next year for all our existing and new members. My plan for next year is split into 3 parts: engage, collaborate, and opportunities. For engage, I hope to continue emailing companies to try and arrange more company visits, because I think this offers a true insight to life after LSE. I also plan to host interactive events and workshops for our members so they can gain some practical experience and skills like coding and other actuary specific skills. I also think that one of the main keys to success next term is more social events in the early Michaelmas term for new members, as I think that the presence of our society is really key in making new friends for freshers next year. Secondly, I would like to collaborate with other societies in LSE to broaden our horizons and explore new things. In addition, I would like to continue hosting events where the society travels to another university to hear a speaker. I think these add real value and allow members to meet new people and like-minded individuals. Lastly, I would like to create opportunities by inviting industry leaders to share their experience in the field. My final wish is to host events that discuss non-conventional careers with actuarial science, like banking and finance. Thank you for your consideration.
Hello. So hello everyone, my name is Yong, and as you can tell, I'm running for the events director of Actuarial Society. I believe that being an events director might be challenging as it requires us to take into account of factors such as who will be interested in joining those events and how do we ensure that people actually do show up after registering through the Google Forms. For this issue, I'll be trying to categorize them into 3 different groups, which is the first years, second years, and third years. Where first years, we're mainly focusing on alumni sessions, networking session with the alumni, and career talks so that any confusions regarding the modules to get exemption from exams can be explained and cleared. And for the second years, I'll be aiming to invite speakers from IFOA or GAD to talk about the spring or summer internship opportunities. And for third years, since they've been through second and first years, it's not significant for them to join those events. And for this, I'll aim to introduce more graduate internship opportunities where we invite speakers to talk about it. Throughout the past years, I believe that Stephanie have created feedback forms for members to submit, and I aim to analyze and summarize all these forms to make changes where necessary to improve for the next academic year. For example, we could include more company visits, theater trips, or even collaboration with other statistic-related societies such as data science, where we can increase our exposure and to acquire relevant skills such as R or even Excel. In terms of the social aspects of the society, I aim to host large-scale events termly, where the first one will be maybe a trip to Bloomsbury Lane during the end of Michael's term, and even a statistic ball for the end of Lent term. I believe that I am a suitable candidate for this role is because I have experience as a public relation and sports director of LSESU Malaysia Club, where I've hosted events throughout the year, and I'm familiar with.
Sorry, time's up.
Yeah, thank you. That's all I'm trying to say.
Let's give Stephanie the first question.
Okay, hi. So I think my first question would be to the both of you. So I think the major problem with events this year is that like we have been inviting external speakers for all our events, and then as a result that we cannot like control the content of every event, like because they're external people and we can't chase them all the time asking what's in your slides. So do you think we should change our approach and come out with our own sessions, or should we continue dealing with speakers' content that we cannot control all the time?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for the question. I think what we should aim to do next year is to continue with external sessions, because I feel like they offer the most insight into life after LSE and eventually into a job. But I feel like what we should do is be very, very clear at the outset in our opening email what we intend the session to be, so there's no discrepancy, so that the speaker has no room to defer from that plan, and that we have all the control as to what the session will entail. I feel like that's the way to sort of combat that issue.
I feel like it's important to communicate and negotiate with them, since we have to do this for our members, so that maybe we can try and communicate well, and maybe we can get on the same page where the speakers will talk about some things that our members are interested in, so that we can ensure that the participation rate would be high and more members will come and join events.
Thank you. Does Stephanie has another question?
Right. So another problem with speakers last year is that they cancel last minute. We've had several instances where we have to cancel events because they canceled on us, and there's really not much that we can do, as finding a replacement speaker, as all the events app committee know, is really hard to find speakers last minute anyway. So how do you think we can do better next year and minimize the probability of speakers canceling on us last minute?
Maybe we can include some backup plans for it. So like, I think what I would do is I'll try to discuss this type of issues with the CR director, the president or vice pres, and maybe we can come some solutions where we will maybe have like some backup speakers for it, so that if in any case where there's such events happen, we can have other speakers to come and talk to us about it.
I mean, there's not really much we can do if a speaker cancels. So the best way to avoid or limit the impact of that is to have multiple speaker sessions. So have more events that include maybe 2 or 3 speakers, so that we're sort of minimizing the risk of canceling an entire event. And if one speaker cancels, it's not the end of the world. In the eventuality of a one speaker event and the speaker cancels, then we'll maybe just have to go to a backup event, like a social or something of that nature, because I think canceling an entire event is not really the best look for the society in general.
Right, thank you for your questions. I have a follow-up question to Yongbing. So you mentioned about having backup speakers and collaborating with CR. So how is your plan to make this happen? Because won't you think that if you tell a speaker you're a backup, it looks quite bad on the society?
I'll try to clarify myself, as what Louis mentioned just now, that we can have like a few more speakers in a certain events, so that if any of the particular speakers were absent and cancel on last minutes, we can still have like 2 or 3 more other speakers, and to ensure that events can go on smoothly.
Thank you. Stephanie, have more questions?
Can I ask questions for like each of them, like now, or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, so I think my first question would be for Yongbing. So in your manifesto, you mentioned something about like feedback forms, how you would like to analyze them and so on and so forth. So in the society, we started the year with like feedback forms, but throughout the year, we have had very, very low response rate for feedback forms. Sometimes in a case where no member even responds to a feedback form after an event. So it's really that bad, like the situation with feedbacks. So how do you think you are going to get around this sort of like low response rate of feedback from members?
For this issue, I feel like maybe we can try to send more information about the feedback forms in WhatsApp groups, which I know that you guys have been doing it for the past year. And maybe you can even ask the subcoms where they will get their friends or those other freshers to do it so that there are more responses for the feedback forms.
Okay, thank you for that. I still have another question for you. So, just now in your speech, you mentioned something about like first year, second year, third years, they'll all have different interests when it comes to the events from the society. So, how do you plan of like getting around that? Do you plan to like only have certain events for first year and another event for second year, or are you planning to sort of plan each event to be sort of cohesive for all the years? Because as you all know now, like third years don't really show up. So how are you planning to get around that? And how are you planning to get all year groups in an event together?
Okay, so I feel like the timeline of events are significant. So for next term, maybe we can start with like a social session where we invite all the first, second, or third year students to come and let them meet their seniors and talk about anything that they want. And as the term goes by, maybe you can include more panel session discussions that focuses on second or even first year students that they are interested in. And for third years, I feel like they will only be interested in joining most social events, which I've mentioned earlier that I'll be planning a Bloomsbury trip, a trip to Bloomsbury Lane where all the members of the society can come together and socialize.
Okay, if I could have one last question for Yongbing. Okay, so you're in part of like the committee for the Actuarial Society for this year, but you have like experience in another society. So would you say that this would be like a disadvantage for you if you assume the roles of an events director in terms of like not knowing what the members of the society wants because you haven't had the chance to, work with the committee of the society?
Even though that I wasn't in a subcommittee of the Actuarial Society this year, however, I've been talking to most of my friends who are engaged in those sessions, like especially like Ching, who are in part of the subcom of events director. And on top of that, I'm currently the director of the MSOC of LSC. So I feel like I have the experience in organizing events and ensuring the participation rate is high for most of the events.
Just to cut in for a bit, a small question here. I'm wondering how many of our events have you attended?
I think I've attended most of the events, such as the Actual Journey, where it took place on the first or second week of Michaelmas term, and the company visits, and the last week's talk at CAS Business School, and even the actual case study competition and actual conference.
Okay, that's definitely not most of the events, it's some of the events. Yeah. Anyways, just following up on, I'm sorry, Luis, I'm going to keep you on hold for a while, but I have a question. Following up on Yongbing's answer. So you said you're part of MSOC, right? So the thing is, the biggest thing about having multiple roles in multiple society is who you're going to put as a priority. For example, our actual conference this year at 26 is on Saturday. What's happening that day? Careers Fair. And if such a situation happens, say, because MSOC is related to UKC and probably MSOC will be pushing for, and M9 as well. So how are you going to prioritize given that you will have two important roles in two different societies?
I'll try to get a balance between these societies, and maybe like before Like, let's say if I'm more committed to Actuarial Society for that particular event, I'll try and list out all the other tasks or roles to my fellow colleagues in MSOCs. Hopefully that will clear the confusion.
Okay, and then one question on feedback for both of you. I know both of you mentioned that collecting feedback from members and stuff. But the thing is, for the feedback, number one, nobody is responding to feedbacks. Number two, people give very lame answers like, I want more socials. So we have socials and we have games night, movie night, but nobody attends. So how are you gonna like deal with a situation like this?
Regarding the feedback form, I feel like in terms of short answers, maybe you can give them like multiple choice answers for them to like take, because it's of course more convenient for them instead of writing a long paragraph. And for the part where they said that they want more socials, but when you guys organize card games or even movie nights, I feel like maybe you should reduce those type of socials as people are not that interested. And which is why I've introduced my 2 large-scale social events for both terms, Michaelmas and Lent terms.
I actually think that online feedback forms don't really work. I think that they don't get a high enough turnout rate and people don't feel responsible for their answers. So I actually think gathering feedback in person is far superior to online feedback forms. So I think at the end of an event, maybe we could interview maybe 4 or 5 people and ask them, what do you think you like? What did you like about that event? What do you think we could have done better? What would you like to see out of the society? So people are held accountable to their answers, and they feel like they have to give us sort of a good answer because it's in person and you can't avoid it. And you can't ignore it if it's in person. That's my answer.
Okay, I will have one follow-up question to Ying, and Stephanie has more questions for Louis. Okay, so in regards to your large-scale events, how are you planning to get the fundings, and how much do you think you will be spending for such events?
For this, I'll try to communicate with the treasurer of the committee once I've been selected. And I can't promise you right now that how much funding does it take to do such large-scale event. And for the Land-Term Statistics Board, I'm planning to collaborate with maybe other societies or even the Department of Statistics and propose this idea to them so that this event may happen.
All right, thank you. Stephanie, do you have any questions?
Okay, so this question is for Louis. So with your experience as an events subcommittee, what do you think the events division as a whole could have done better for the society?
I think we could have explored more alternative industries, not exactly related to insurance, but maybe incorporating some other element into insurance, looking for speakers maybe from a more diverse background than just risk management and actuarial science. I think this might boost engagement rates, and it would also just be interesting to hear something a bit different, a bit of a different view on actuarial science and what it means in the wider world.
Okay, great. So another question for you is that you mentioned something about more workshops so like members can get more hands-on. So when planning your workshops in the future, what will you do to ensure that like what we're doing is not too specific but like and hard to follow, but also not too general, so we can cater to every member of every level of knowledge and like of every year in LSE?
Well, I plan to do it a bit like we did the coding workshop earlier in term, and sort of start at a beginner level, and then people who are more advanced could get some guidance from the instructor, and hopefully it would be worthwhile for everybody. I mean, we can't really assume a high level of knowledge, but we also can't assume that they're the absolute basic as well. So we've got to sort of start from the basics at the start of the session and work our way up from that.
Okay, just to follow up on that, what sort of workshops are you like planning? Is it all just coding, or do you have anything in mind in particular that you're like really excited about?
Well, it would be researching what sort of skills that the actuaries use, whether it's risk analysis or analyzing a model or something like that, and something that is actually useful. Coding is obviously very useful, but I feel like it's going to be covered enough, and if we include skills that actuaries actually use, like analysis and stuff like that, it will be of benefit. But it's just asking the speaker what they feel most comfortable giving a tutorial on.
Okay, thank you. That's it for me, Ariel.
Okay, does anyone here have questions? Yeah, go ahead.
My question would be, do you guys have any strategies or any like special plans in mind in order to increase the participation rate overall for the events?
So as I've mentioned earlier, that for next term, I'll be planning to have first a social session for all years, and then later that term we can have like maybe career focused talks with alumni where they share their insights, where they can give an insights about the actual profession from a senior perspective. Then only like during the end of the Michaelmas term or Lent term, we'll have the social events.
I think if we do the social events in early Michaelmas term well with the freshers, they're obviously going to be the highest proportion of people in our society next year. And if we do that well and retain a lot of them, then obviously they'll be motivated to turn up to events, and that'll boost participation rates.
I have one question for Ying. Could you name a few events that you have in mind to organize next year that is not social or in like not engagement with alumni?
As I've mentioned in my manifesto, like inviting speakers from IFOA or even GAD to talk about spring or summer internship opportunities. Then later during that term, we can maybe have like speakers talk about the issues regarding the issues that arise in the actual fields, such as maybe general or even life insurance.
Okay, I'm pretty sure we already had like this type of events throughout the entire year. So if you were to be elected, you would definitely need to come up with even more new ideas in terms of this aspect. Yeah, that's all from me. What else, Ariel? Anyone from the floor? No? Okay, great. That's all for the start. Thank you. Next we'll have research, am I right? And then we have developers.
Start. Hi everyone, my name is Futa, and I'm also running for the research director for Actuarial Society. So this academic year, as I said, I was in the research division and produced research report and also interviewed the professionals. And for my manifestos, I would like to introduce 3 new initiatives and 2 improvements. For the first new initiative, I want to propose awareness video series, which we film ourselves, our film research division of any actuarial related topics, and we distribute it to our members and also other students at LSE through our Instagram and Facebook, so we can increase the student awareness of Actuarial Society and also actuarial professions itself. And second new initiative is research workshop. So I'd like to introduce research workshop to equip our members with both quantitative and qualitative research skills. Quantitative ones would be SQLs or just generally Excel, and qualitative ones would be interviewing professionals. And third new initiative is divisional collaboration. So this year, research division didn't have much collaboration with the other divisions. So I think we can change this and maybe collaborate with the events division to introduce events related to the research topic that the research subcommittee did. So there's more connection between the research paper and what the society is doing. And the two improvements, the first improvement is group research project. So we actually had this plan this year, but we couldn't do it because of lack of time. So I think we can improve scheduling to ensure that this happens. And also the second improvement connects to this is early preparation. We did find a really good case sponsor and prize sponsor for our case competition, but it was a bit of in a rush and it could have been done better. So I think we can start looking for the case competition sponsors much earlier in the year for promptness and efficiency. Thanks for listening, and I hope I've convinced you to vote for me. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Jaden, and I'm applying for the position of Research Director. Through being an active member of the society, I've witnessed a passion for our fellow members that they have for actuarial science, and I hope to be able to be given the opportunity to contribute towards this role through the Research Director, where I can assure you that I'll be dedicated to the role and provide you with the best. I'll frequently provide accessible short readings to keep you up to date with current news and developments within the actuarial profession, as well as relaying the information from the research reports by the research subcommittee to ensure you have commercial awareness to ace your interviews. I have the leadership, communication, and organization skills required to lead the direction of the research division, and especially the actuarial case competition. This is evident as during sixth form, I led a team of 3 for our successful house maths competition, which lasted over 4 months. I hope to increase participation and allow for as many as you to gain commercial awareness by increasing the time frame of the competition and begin planning earlier, as suggested by the current research director, to improve the quality of the competition. Finally, I'll continue to compile a career pack for a one-stop guide for spring week summer internships, interview tips, and many other things. However, some things that I'll add are tips for assessment centers and how to make yourself a more desirable candidate. I'll also be open to any other ideas that are suggested by our members that they'd like to see in the career pack. Thank you for listening, and I hope to have gained your vote for the role of Research Director.
So thank you to Jaden. So we'll now proceed with the Q&A session.
So can both of you elaborate more on what's your plan for the research department next year?
Yeah, so I'll continue to hold the research report that we did this year as it went really well. But as I said, I'll also try to fit in group project with better scheduling. And also the case competition also went really well. So also continue doing that, but with more planning. So we have more time to find the sponsors and maybe also refine the case itself. Yes.
So I provide the accessible short readings, which are more accessible for our members because I'm not sure if everybody knows about the reports that you submit on the website.
We haven't published it yet, but planning to do that like this week.
Yeah, okay. But I'd provide short ones, so you don't have to wait until the end of the year. Also, I'd continue with the case competition, but to increase the participation, I'd hold more research workshops so people actually are interested in research and aren't feeling too overwhelmed by the project.
Could you elaborate more on how to increase the participation for the case competition?
Well, a lot of people didn't participate because it was only a week and there's lots of other pressures on us. So I think about increasing that or maybe reduce the workload of the case competition.
All right, thank you. So a follow-up question for Futa. So you mentioned that you want to do the group research project. So what's your plan on that, and how do you like to fit that in our schedule, given that you also mentioned that you would like to start the case competition preparation earlier? So do you think we have enough time for the research division subcom to complete all their tasks?
Yeah, so for the group project, when I heard of the idea back in September, I had in mind that we could do anything related to actuarial and also like interview LSE students for the primary research. And this is just like a prototype idea, but if we could do that. And in terms of planning, I think we could set the final deadline for the research report in December instead of February or March. So you can use the time in Lent term to work on the group project. And in terms of case competition sponsorship, maybe we can start looking for in October or November. Yeah, thank you.
All right. So do you think that the subcom will be able to like balance between the case competition like preparation and also the research, since that you mentioned that you want to like search earlier during like October?
I think since this year I've done almost everything involved in research. I know like how to organize, how to efficientize it much better, because this was only the first year of this division, so a lot of things are new. And I think even the committee was sort of like not having problems, but also must have had trouble in organizing. So I think that we can do better. And if in case subcommittee can't handle the workload, I could obviously have meetings with them to discuss about the topic. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So another question for both of you. So as you are aware that we had our case competition final presentation last 3 days. So like obviously this is the first competition that we held, and like there's a lot that we can improve on. So like can you say that what have you learned from the case competition, since that both of you also participated in it, and what do you think that we could have done better?
I think something we could have done better is the time. I think it was very strict, and the main purpose of the case competition is like to address what each team has to offer. And I think time shouldn't limit what they want to say. And although it is really important to finish the event in time, maybe we could have some sort of flexibility. So maybe set the initial event end time at, instead of 5, set it at 7. Well, if that's too late, start the event a bit earlier so that we can sort of set buffer zone for each team to go longer or shorter.
So I thought it went quite well, because it was quite interesting, the topic, especially because it's up and coming. But to improve, as I said, the time frame of the competition, also maybe the judging criteria, because I feel like it was quite generic. And so, well, my team especially, we just went generic, and rather than being quite specific is what we researched.
All right, thank you. So another question. So like how will you delegate the tasks among the subcom for the case competition and also the research?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
So how will you delegate the tasks between the subcom for the case competition and also the research, given that they have to like do both of this together, like ongoing preparation?
Okay, so maybe we could split the tasks half and half between the research subcommittee, or potentially work on them both together and just make sure we've set in targets to make sure we're in line with where we expect to be at the end of the time frame.
Yeah, so for allocating work, I think, I hate to say it, but some of our members didn't have much motivation in producing research paper. So I think we could first ask if they're really interested in doing it. And even if they have started and if they don't feel like doing it, they could stop. And so we can allocate them more important work like case sponsorship or a group project.
All right, so this question is directed to Futa. So as you are one of the subcom in the research department this year, so what have you learned in the research department, and is there anything that you think you can improve on?
Yeah, I think it was definitely my first time interviewing like professionals of this area. I've never interviewed, I've been interviewed, I've never interviewed a professional. So that was definitely a new experience, and I'm more confident in presenting and interviewing, getting interviewed. So that was a good learning that I had through this division. And yeah, I think improvements to make is generally time management. I even missed a lot of deadlines. And I think, yeah, we could do much better in that.
All right, so another question for Jaden. So as a non-subcom member, and as someone who are only started participating in our society very recently, so it might be more difficult for you to carry out your duty as you might be more unfamiliar with our operation or even what we do. So my question is, how familiar are you with our society, and how confident are you in performing equally well or even better with other candidates that who have been with us since last year?
Since last year, sorry.
As in like the other subcoms?
Well, I feel like I have the skills required. So I've got the organization, the leadership, and the desire to actually do well within the role. And so I don't feel like I'm disadvantaged because I could quickly learn on the role after talking to you about more about what the role entails and what's the expectations. And just to clarify, I have been taking part in the society from the start of the year. I applied for subcom, but I didn't really get it. But yeah.
Yeah, just like you are mostly mentioning on regular events as in like the speaker events. Yeah, and so another question for Futa. So just now you mentioned about the awareness video series. So would you elaborate more on this? Like how would you like to carry out this?
Sorry, on what?
The awareness video series.
Oh, yeah. So actually, my friend has similar events in a law department. So I thought it was a really good idea. So basically, they'll film whatever. So we could film actuarial-related topics. And so just like the research report we did, but more in terms of visual sense and more shorter and easy to understand for non-actuarial people, so that we can first raise the awareness of actuarial profession, and also this video could raise awareness of our society itself. So yeah, so that was my plan.
Thank you. Ariel, could you pull out like Jaden's manifest? All right, so Jaden, you mentioned that you would like to provide short readings. So what are the topics that you have in mind for now?
Current topics which are quite relevant are climate change, digitalization of the profession and how it's going to affect us. We've got healthcare. There's multiple different topics really. So on the actuary, just anything that seems interesting that could affect our profession and that I think the members would be interested in.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any more questions? No. Okay, I think that is all for research. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, finally we have marketing and we have Hassan.
Okay, so hello everyone. So much of what I've said for my presidential speech was, it's still applicable. So as marketing director, I intend on selling the benefits of our society to more members, reaching out to math, stats, and business students, maths with econ, and financial math students. Furthermore, I believe that launching a logo competition featuring the trademark LSC red color and having a hoodie design competition will make our society more prominent. Having worked under the corporate relations division, I've had experience with direct communication to speakers and sponsors, which will be helpful when cross-checking posters. My digital skills and acumen for aesthetics will also help in maintaining the website. So many of the presidential candidates and other candidates have made claims about boosting involvement, improving social events, but I believe that I am the sole candidate that actually attended all the social and career-oriented events. Therefore, I can effectively assess what events work and what not. and which marketable strengths we should draw on. As marketing director, I will be able to work closely with the elected team and make sure that everything I said in my presidential speech is effected. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Hassan. Now it's time for the Q&A.
Yeah.
So attention to detail is very important as a marketing director because like you need to liaise with speakers and sponsors to make sure that they are happy with the posters, and you don't even bother making a separate poster for marketing director. So do you think you are truly capable of this position?
It's not that I didn't bother. It's just that as many people here know, we only had one day to prepare a speech, prepare a poster, and yeah, so it was just for time constraint. And I felt that if I did make another one, the only thing I would have changed is just president on top, really.
Yeah, and on that point, why didn't you just change at least for effort's sake?
Oh, sorry, I was just running a bit late. And I also have like a lot of projects
Do you
to
think
submit.
changing president to marketing director takes 1 hour?
No, but I would have to, because I actually had to like compress it because it was on Canva, it's pretty big and stuff, so
You
yeah.
don't have to compress an image for sure. 2 images can be sent through on Canva. But yeah, next
No,
time.
sorry. I mean, like once the poster was made, I would have to like compress it.
No, you don't need to.
The size was, yeah, okay.
Yes, and multiple. Okay, just to
The
follow
size
up on
was
that.
pretty big, yeah, sorry.
Just to follow on that, we've
Yeah.
sent multiple emails to speakers with like, unless there's more than 5 pictures from Canva, I do not have to compress it. For all the CR things, it has to be compressed because it's a full-on 20-page document.
No, I meant compress as in on the website, the SU website, it only accepted like
Right, but you
certain
could have sent
sizes.
this-
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's fine.
And just now you mentioned about time constraint, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is about like marketing division, there's a lot of posters where we need to do it really last minute.
Yeah, I've realized you send posters like all in bulk. I've realized for bulk of the amount of work you have, and I respect you for that. But I think so your question is about managing time constraint, I believe.
Yeah, because you're saying that you don't have enough time to make this one poster, right? So what if like, for example,
I believe that as marketing director, you should have access to more subcommittees, because I believe you only had 2 people, I think. Yeah. So if we increase that to at least 3 or 4, that would we could subdivide the tasks, because I've realized there's a lot of tasks. I think Benedict works under marketing, and he's told me there's quite a lot for 2 people to do. Yeah.
And just to add on that, because sometimes the speakers or like some of the events are confirmed very last minute. So marketing would have to do a lot of last minute poster that you probably cannot delegate to your subcommittee because it is too last minute for you already. So you would want to delegate that last minute work to your subcommittee as well. So do you think you have the time to do
Yeah,
all
sure.
that?
So when it comes to speakers, we need to have a defined template that we can just change regarding to the speaker. And yeah, having a template will save a lot of time, I believe. Yeah.
So would you think that having the exact same template for every single post will look?
No, that's not what I meant. Like, I meant like having a specific background and layout, having generic text that we could edit. Like under CR, you would send us emails highlighted and we could change that. But yeah, because we want, our end goal is to market the society, we're gonna have to find ways to attract more people by varying our language and stuff like that.
and also, do you have any relevant designing experience?
Oh yeah, so I've worked back in my high school. I used to do posters for, so I was a student rep president, and I used to create posters for the student rep. I also worked as a class prefect, and yeah, I've had experience with Canva and online designs. I can also make videos if that's required.
What about websites? Because like not many
Websites.
people
You use Wix for websites. I believe Wix is it's user friendly. There's no need to learn HTML. So yeah, I think that's a skill that I could quickly take on upon. Yeah.
And what's your plan on increasing engagement across our social media platform? Because like as of now, our posts don't really have a lot of likes, although we have quite a number of followers.
Oh, so what I really liked from the LSC Actuarial Case Conference is there was incentives. People were given incentives to sharing posts. I think Ru actually won and someone else actually won. So if we incentivize our events, we incentivize people sharing and stuff like that. Obviously, we can't do that for every event because there's the money constraint. But yeah, we have to come up with incentives for people to turn up and share our posts. Yeah. Maybe stories. Stories would be a good idea too.
I have one question. So given your past experience as a CR.com, I'm pretty sure you are aware of our social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and our website. So as a marketing director, reaction to our posts are quite important because the algorithm counts like people are interested, people of this interest are interested, so I'll send it to more people. So could you explain why you never actually reacted to any of our posts?
On LinkedIn or Instagram? I've liked a couple of my Instagram posts. Well, not mine, the Actuarial Society's posts. I've reacted to the LinkedIn ones. I think you invited me to the conference and I accepted. I've shared a couple of posts, but yeah, as you said, I fully take responsibility for that. And I believe there's more I could do. And it's not just me, there's more I could propel other people to do also. Yeah. So maybe we should make that clear to the subcom as soon as they join. That's like a expectation. Yeah.
Okay, does anyone have more questions? We're good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys. So this marks the end of the talking. And if you guys haven't voted, you can vote. If you don't have the link, I'm going to send an email out right now to vote. But yeah, thank you. So we have our event tonight. I believe we've received, you guys have received an email for our event tonight. If you guys want to, you can stay back in this room and chit chat, and we can move to the other room at 5:30. If you guys don't want to, feel free to just leave and join us tonight. Thank you guys.